What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, the podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McGlusky, which can only mean one thing. It is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the college football podcast, Tarletons and Charlatans. Week one of the season has come and gone. Every team is in the action now in the FBS, in the FCS. This has all begun. Ryan, I don't know about you, but football from Thursday all the way through to Tuesday, collegiate football wise. I've had a really good fill this weekend and I'm very happy for it.
Yeah, it came back, like you say. Well, on one hand, it came back and I'm delighted. On the other hand, I had my worst week in the pitch watch in the entire history of done pick watch. I had my worst ever week. So there's a reason I don't get paid to do this, and that it proved why.
Fairness, very few people actually did well in it this week. But yeah, week one slate was an absolute doozy. Three top 10 matchups, not top 25, top 10 matchups took place, and a whole load of other upsets and scalps. There have been more big upsets in the FCS as well. That started crazy. We've had some big upsets already from FCS teams over FBS teams. Oh, we've had everything, and we are here to talk about that this week. Yes, we are going to review the week one slate. And because there was like 6 days worth of games, I'm going to break tradition a bit here. We're going to go away from the title leading the first game we're going to talk about. We're going to do it by the day. So we're going to go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the very hilarious one on Tuesday. Before we take a look at week two, which figures to be just as impressive, even if it doesn't have the top 25 action in there. We are recording this episode today. I've not had as much chance to do any prep work for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the games and I'm going to get up the college on game papers that I use to get all our stats with. And you can read along with us at home to go through it also. I don't have to do all that. So I can do that better when we're recording this. Obviously, I'll be in the stream, I'll be in the chat. So any questions you want to ask while we're going through, just let us know and we'll address them on next week's show or I'll answer in the chat there. So yeah, thanks for bearing with us with that one. Right, let's just get all the housekeeping out of the way. Roar of the Lions UK Discord. If you want in on that, then just let us know. We will fire you across a link to get into that. Don't forget to like and sub to everything, Twitch, YouTube, all that good sort of stuff. We really appreciate the backing. We're nearly at 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, so if you could push us towards that last milestone, that would be great. The Main Lions podcast, it was season predictions on Monday, so if you've not seen what we thought going to happen for the Lions season, then go check that out. Obviously, the NFL starts this evening. Tremendous. It's back. Cannot wait for it. Don't forget we're part of Lions Nation Unite as well, so please do help and support that channel as well. And we're monetized on YouTube. We've got a tip jar, all that sort of good stuff. So, excuse me, if you want to help that way, that's great. But if not, first and foremost, we just love having you in the building talking ball with us. Howdy, Brent. Hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about you a lot later, my friend. So yeah, that's all the housekeeping bits in. Only one tiny little bit of news to go through before we get into this, because not a lot has been out thus far, but a very, 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 very late transfer in the year, and Georgia State, whether they're going to use him or not, they've got themselves a new quarterback. But TJ Finley, Rye, the millionth stop for the now notorious quarterback arrested, who was meant to be part of the Tulane team this year, meant to be their starter, got arrested, left the team, didn't happen. He's at Georgia State now. Last chance saloon for him, and he's not got very much time to prove himself if he wants a career beyond this year in college.
I mean, why did they want him? I just don't. He doesn't offer much, does he, at this point? We've seen him multiple stops now, brief stints where he's just failed to live up to expectations. At this point, like, yeah, just put the fries in the bag, man. Get a job. NIL. He ain't getting any NIL, surely. No one can be that interested in him to endorse him. Because, like you say, now he's had brushings with the law. He's dropped out of multiple schools. Like you say, he's struggled to see the field at different programs. Like, yeah, when's enough's enough? At what point do we get a rule where you can only play for so many schools or enroll so many schools' football programs before they just say, no, you're done.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
you get whatever degree you're on, your master's, your PhD, probably got a science, probably learned every language you can on every language course or something. Like just leave university and like get a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether he sees the field there or not, we will see. But yeah, DJ Finley has transferred to Georgia State in the latest of many stops for the well-traveled quarterback now, right? I think that's really about it in terms of stuff that's come out injury wise, and that will update as we go on. So we're just going to dive down because there is a lot of football to go through over the entire course of a weekend. So heading back to the start of week one, last Thursday, August the 28th, and started off with three games in the early slot and then a whole bunch of ones in the late. And one of the first games of the new collegiate football seasons already saw a ranked upset. We lost a ranked team already, and maybe not the one we were expecting in what was an absolutely tremendous game, which we both watched on that Thursday. We mentioned it possibly as a slight upset thing. I don't think we had much conviction behind it, but the number 25 Boise State Broncos, Mountain West champions, Ashton Gianti's former team, proving that they can live beyond him. There is life beyond Gianti in this Broncos team. And I mean, to be honest, they started off really well in this game, and you kind of feared for South Florida. Um, it was very quiet first quarter. Both teams took a bit of time to get into this one, but Boise were the first ones to get on the board. Maddox Madsen had a completed pass to Chris Marshall for 6 yards for a touchdown on a third and goal. And you're thinking, yeah, probably they're going to spread away from it here. But those were the last points that Boise State would score in their first game of the season, and the Bulls came back with a vengeance. They got the first points on the board 3 minutes into the second quarter. The legendary family of Grammatica that have graced UCF now for years. I think there's been about four of them there, and there's another two on the way. Nico, the kicker at the program, nailed a 52-yard field goal on a fourth and 15 to bring it to 7-3. And then 6 minutes later, Byron Brown, who he is a wonderful quarterback prospect in the group of five, coming back off a serious injury. He's had no prep time for this season whatsoever. He's barely been able to recover in time to get it going. 6 minutes left in the half. He ran in for a 23-yard touchdown run. He looks absolutely pristine so early into the season. And so USF went into the half 10-7 up. You're still thinking Boise are probably going to get back into this, but that offense just does not get going at all. To start the third quarter, they punted. They had three plays, went for -8 yards. USF punted when they first came out. But then the play of the game, fourth and six at Boise's 45. USF come out to punt back to Boise. The only trouble was Boise didn't notice that the punter hadn't actually come out onto the field. Golesh and his Bulls had snuck out the backup quarterback, the freshman Lachlan Hewlett, and instead of punting the ball, too late they realized there was a quarterback on the field. It got snapped back to him. He unleashes this 30-yard dime to Keyshawn Singleton, who ends up breaking like four tackles from Boise State special teams who have no idea what's happening, and he takes it in for a 45-yard touchdown. Nico Grammatica gets the kick there, and then this thing just absolutely boils open. Boise State get turned over on downs, been really, aggressive. It was a good 12 play, 52-yard drive from them, but USF's defense turned them over. Then USF just go straight back down the field and score again with a point to go in the third quarter. Another touchdown run from Byron Brown puts them 24-7 to the good. Boise State then turnover on downs again. It's just a five-play, 18-yard drive. They've got a fourth and two to convert, which they fail to do so. And then the Bulls once more to taking a third successive touchdown drive. This time, Cartavius Norton, the running back, he has an 8-yard rushing touchdown, which Grammatica again converts. And then after this Boise State fumble It's a 10 play, 50-yard drive, fumble, turnover from the USF defense. Boise's next offensive play, they are turned over on downs after a 7 play, 32-yard drive. That ends with about 5 minutes to go. USF tack on another field goal. Grammatica hits from 33, and Boise State run this thing out. A 7 play, 50-yard drive takes 3 minutes, 30 seconds, no urgency whatsoever. And the game is done. And the USF Bulls absolutely destroy the Boise State Broncos 34-7 after a very quiet first quarter. And, we watched this game, right? And what was noticeable, USF were their defenders hit every tackle like it was a freight train hitting some poor defenseless car in the middle of a station crossing. They forced 4 fumbles on the day, 3 fumble recoveries from Boise State to turn them over. They turned them over on downs 3 times. They had an 81% stop rate on Boise State. That is a drive that ends in a turnover on downs, or a punt. Like, this was pure domination on USF's part after that first quarter when Byron Brown got going.
Oh yeah, this got ugly real quick for Boise. It started early, like say the quick pass out. I think it was to one of their receivers, and it was punched out violently and covered. And like I say, it kind of just went downhill from there. If you count the 3 fumbles lost, multiple turnovers and downs, that turnover margin was like -5 in USF favor. Like they actually had a fantastic day on defense. Jalen Schuler, 15 tackles. That guy, I'm gonna have to watch more of this senior linebacker. 6'3", 220. He was absolutely flying around and just smashing people like right, left, right, and center. But yeah, Byron Brown, all 6'3", 225 of him. He is a physical specimen. One of the players he scored as well, where he just takes like a direct snap and just runs up the middle. Like I say, he just splits the backers. He rolls and spins out of the safety. He runs over like stiff arms on the guys. Must have broke at least 4 tackles and then just marching in the end zone. He is seriously hard to bring down. He's incredibly well built. He's very strong. He's very slippery as well. He's someone you do not want out in the open field, and they maximize that with excellent play calling. But yeah, we've already seen the flaws of Narshed and Jonte. Saya again slowed down, and yeah, I just knew it. Madison. I think he's been too reliant on too strong a run game in his time there, and when it's not there, I think flustered. And like I say, he struggled to find his targets. The coverage was very good from the USF defenders. They were tight. Like I say, he was holding on to the ball long. And in the end, yeah, not great. 2 of 6 on 4 downs. So on fourth down as well, the USF came up big. Like I say, turned them on multiple times. Penalties, 8 flags on the Broncos. It was a non-disciplined day as well. Spencer Danielson probably had a fit after that game. I imagine he went in on them really hard in the locker room because that was a dreadful performance.
And it goes to show, like, all the issues as well. Your special teams guy, your job is to realize that the punter's not coming onto the field, his
No
number,
numbers.
and
There's
you've got a backup quarter. You're thinking, hang on, that's not the punter's number. Who on earth's coming out at this point? This is not a team fair. This is not like
know that, and then you
all on the
caught a timeout.
players. This is on coaching as well. Like, they looked unprepared for this.
Yeah, they did not look like they were knowing what they were doing at all.
No.
And yeah, defensive schemes as well. Like the box was just, it was too light. Benefield and that, like I said, you needed it in the box. You're going up against a quarterback that is built like Derrick Henry and wants to play like Derrick Henry. He is not shy. The guy literally like was run for the pylon. He'd turn back into centre field to like hit the safety. He is not. He worries me, Baron Brown, because he's got no recognition for his own safety. That's the only thing. Like I say, he does take unnecessary hits. But yeah, the box was not heavy enough. Like I say, there were too many light fronts, and you know what the Bulls want to do. They're not a strong passing offense, despite some good performances. It's going to be won in the trenches. So it was a bad day all around.
Exactly. And, just, to show you a bit more about this game. So I'm just going to share the screen now and you'll be able to see this. So this is a wonderful website for anyone who wants to use it. So it's called Game on Paper, and this is where all the stats and everything are for. And you can have a look along, but they've got everything on here. Win probability, expected points. You can see that for the Bulls. Obviously, Broncos in blue, Bulls in green. Boise lead at the start of the game. People thought they were going to win, and it took even until well into the second half until the odds favored in USF's favor there. But we look here at the team stats, and this is where some of the stats of the game start to come into play. Look at Boise State here. Their yards per play, 4.76, which is 20th percentile. USF, 7.3 yards per play, nearly double the yards per play, and they didn't necessarily have as much offensive production to work with. You look at explosive play rate, just 5% for Boise, not many explosive plays. No Ashton Jonty there to put that in. 13% for the Bulls. You look at red zone success rate, just 29% for Boise. That is 24th percentile. 56% in the red zone for USF. That's 75%. So nearly three in every five drives in the red zone ended successfully. The only thing in green here for Boise is the havoc rate for their defense. And yes, they were able to. You take a look at the defensive plays on the right-hand side. 7 tackles for loss, 5 against the pass, 2 against the run, 4 sacks, 3 of which came from their defensive tackles. So they did get some success up the interior and a forced fumble as well. But Ryan mentioned the turnovers. You see the turnovers on the right-hand side here. The turnover on downs are not part of this, but it's -3 for Boise without the 3 turnovers on downs on there. So it's -6 altogether. Obviously, you can see the turnover look for 7.5 points, which doesn't matter really on a given day, but it still does because if you take the turnover on downs into the equation, USF scored 3 touchdowns on the back of the turnover on downs, so that should be a lot higher there. But we look at the production here on offense. 86 plays on offense for Boise State, just 53 for USF, yet they only had 22 yards less. It's all about productivity. 50 passes for Boise State, just 29 for USF, and they've got the same. There's 1 yard difference between them in passing plays. Bigger, explosive plays through the air for USF, and then on the ground, USF ran for more as well, despite the fact that Boise State had 13 more rushes in there, just all across the gate. Better from them, and then you get all the stats here for play. So Byron Brown, I mean, it's a great day for him considering how badly injured he was last year, and he's barely had any of the season to play whatsoever. 16 of 24 on his passing for 183 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 4 times, but it's a good day for him. But then on the ground, 10 carries for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, going at 7 yards per carry. Alvon Isaac, their normal running back, 3 carries for 52 yards, going at 17.3 yards per carry there. But then you look on Boise's side and you see the story. Maddox Madsen, 25 of 46, 220 yards and 1 touchdown, but 25 completed passes for just 220 yards. Not throwing it down the field very much. There wasn't much downfield threat here. Sayer Gaines had 9 carries for 44 yards. They didn't really use him because they got that far behind. They couldn't run the football, so they took him out the game. Madsen had 10 carries for 36 yards and 2 fumbles. The turnovers there for the quarterback, not through the air but on the ground, were costly. Latrell Caples had a decent day, 4 catches, 58 yards for Boise. And then on South Florida's side, some really good performances. Keyshawn Singleton, the guy who scored on the fake punt, 5 catches on 5 targets. Good day for him, 93 yards and a touchdown. Chaz Nimrod, 3 catches, 96 yards on the day. So nearly 200-yard receivers there for South Florida. But yeah, certainly the story of the tape here with this one, right? It's offensive efficiency and, a lot more plays for Boise, but they got turned over technically 6 times. So, of course, you're going to have a lot of plays because your drives ended near the end and all those plays counted for nothing.
Yep, time of possession. Boise had it nearly 40 minutes. Like I say, and didn't do anything with it. And that's worrying. To have all that possession, UCF was so comfortable having their defense on the field for nearly 40 minutes because they never felt a threat. They knew that their defensive line and their, like I say, guys setting the edge, Sire Gaines was not getting free at all. There was no penetration from the O-line, and they were happy for Boise were doing their job for them. Those long drives that turned over in downs, they were milking the clock for them. So we need to see a big answer. We need to find them, need to see them this week, establish the run and establish it early. Otherwise, this year, they're going to really struggle. Like I say, Maddox Madsen, is going to have to think on his feet and, like say, make some plays happen out of nothing. Like say, he's going to have to roll out. He's going to have to get better at throwing on the run. If he can't establish the run game, he's going to have to extend plays of his legs this year, which I don't think up until now he's had to do or wants to do. But yeah, John is gone. Like I say, it's time to rip that band-aid off. You've lost a generational player. And yeah, you may have a good running back, but no, he does not scare people. Like I say, they don't prepare for him like they used to.
No, absolutely not. And that UCF defense just was it. How good did it look? It didn't necessarily get the pressure on the quarterback, but it stopped the run game to the degree it needed to. The secondary was tremendous. Fred Gaskin, the strong safety, targeted 3 times, gave up 1 reception for just 9 yards, had a pass breakup. Jarvis Lee, the corner, targeted 5 times, gave up just 2 catches, had a pass breakup for him as well. James Chenault, the other cornerback, targeted 7 times, gave up just 3 receptions there for him. I mean, they were just giving up nothing to Maddox Madsen, and the way they were hitting, like you say, Schuler looked tremendous. Mac Harris, he had 8 tackles, forced fumble, 3 run stops, pass breakup from his middle linebacker position, the 6th year. They just looked ferocious. This it's Alex Gold. We talk about, we've watched the Alex Golesh project for years now. USF was a poor team before he arrived, and it's been slow, it's been torturous, but they've slowly headed in the right direction. And they are now another team who feel like they have their identity, especially on defense, and now they've got their star quarterback back. This team could make a lot of waves this year.
I think they have to. I think a slow, gradual build at some point, like it's all got to come to fruition. And it feels like if this year isn't the year and they can't take that next step, do you have to look internally why the issue is here? But yeah, they've got the pieces. They've got the coaching staff now, made some tweaks. Like I say, he's brought in some guys. The defense is aggressive. Like I say, they've got good coverage. Their middle is very strong. It feels like they've got a lot of good pieces. And offensively, like I say, they've got some good receivers there. They've got a good rotation running the ball. Like I said, to be able to take the pressure off Byram. I don't want to see him constantly just taking beatings every week. There will be games where you just let the running backs do it and he stands up and get past him. But yeah, if they can do this to a good Boise team, it gives me a lot of hope that when they get into, like, say, conference play, they can hand out a few ass whoopings. They have to. I expect them to now. They need to follow this result up with another big result and build some momentum. It can't just be a one-off.
Exactly. They need to do a reverse Hawaii. 'Cause we were talking about this with them last week, and then they went and got their ass handed to them. So you cannot. But, I mean, fair play to them. So their schedule going forward is obviously they've just played Boise, who are a ranked team, USF. They've now got to play Florida and Miami of Florida. Like they've taken all the big bad teams in the area and they're going after them. I think they're playing Florida this week, but I mean, fair play to them. They look great. They're probably going to cause a few headaches for these two going forward. So tremendous performance there from the Bulls to upset the Boise State Broncos. And for Boise State now, it is a long road back to the playoffs because you've still got Notre Dame on your schedule. That's 2 losses. So there's a big opening now there for
Feels like they
other.
might be done.
Yeah, in terms of the playoffs, there are going to be a lot of teams now who are licking their lips going, "Oh my God, we didn't think this was going to happen." Seeding is going to be crucial. Right. Moving it on, there were 2 other games on the early slate on Thursday. Bowling Green took down Lafayette 26-7, and then we had another absolute rager of a game, and this was such a good performance from another Group of Five team who nearly took down their power opposition and coming back from some distance as well. So we had the Ohio Bobcats at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Rutgers, obviously, a team we've had a lot of time for over the years, but Ohio MAC champions coming off their championship, but they lost a coach. They've got a lot of turnover on this team, new coach in place. You're wondering, are they going to be able to deal on the road? Rutgers were 15.5 point favorites for this game, and they started this game like they were favorites. So Rutgers scored first. Actually, brave call from them. They were at a 4th and 2 on the Ohio 14. They choose to go for it. Antoine Raymond, who's going to be the new thing for them at running back. Now, Kyle Monangai is gone. He had a run up the gut for 14 yards for a touchdown. Aggressive call from the Scarlet Knights, but they were able to convert 5 minutes into the game, up 7-0. But Ohio hit them back pretty quickly. Parker Navarro, obviously their star quarterback, he's been there a few years now, won the back, stat killer. Passed to Mason Williams from 4 yards out for a touchdown as Ohio seemingly with ease were moving the ball on the Rutgers defense. But then Rutgers came back with two scores themselves. They had a 23-yard field goal from Jai Patel, and then a really good throw from Athan Kaliakmanis, and I've not said that very often, to DT Sheffield. It was a 54-yard touchdown, and he housed this thing, and Rutgers took a 17-7 lead. Only 2 minutes into the second quarter, and you're thinking for Ohio might be a tough road back for them. But they struck back 5 minutes later. So again, Parker Navarro, another touchdown pass, this time to Jake Bruno from 14 yards out on a 3rd and 3. So again, converting the third down calls there for them. Rutgers hit back on their next drive. Callie Manis again. This time he finds KJ Duff. Went 6 yards for a touchdown to put Rutgers 24-14 up. And then what seemed to be the killer Ohio State's drive. Ohio's drive on the next one stalled out. They went to punt it. It was a 4th and 14 at their own 23. Rutgers blocked it, and they were specialists at blocking kicks last year. Cam Miller eventually was able to get hold of the ball. I think it was one of their D tackles who got the block on it. But Cam Miller returned it because it bounced into the end zone. Defensive score for Rutgers, and they're up 31-14 at this point. Ohio do get a field goal just before the half, but it's 31-17 at the half, and you're thinking, yeah, they're done here. I don't think there's much more left from this Ohio team. But to their credit, they come out in the second quarter. They do really well. Their first opening drive of the half, 9 plays, 75 yards, takes up nearly 4 minutes, but they're moving it swiftly and efficiently. And Parker Navarro, the quarterback, he goes for a little run on a 1st and 10, 17 yards, takes it into the house. About 3 missed tackles from the Rutgers defense on the run there. And then Rutgers struggle in the half to be able to put anything together. They punt a few times, and Ohio start putting together these really long drives. It's so Ohio score next. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Parker Navarro, another touchdown pass to Jake Bruno, this time from 13 yards out. And all of a sudden, this 31-14 lead, it's 31-31 out of nowhere, and Rutgers under a real lot of pressure, which their defense just did not look good. And it took a long drive for themselves, nearly 8 minutes. It was slow going, 14 plays, 67 yards. And it ends with just a field goal from Jai Patel, 26 yards out. This is with 11 minutes left in the game. Ohio get their first try at it. They go 7 plays, 29 yards, but it's slow going. Takes 4 minutes, 26 seconds. And then Rutgers get the ball with nearly 7 minutes left. And they somehow are able to run the entire clock out. It's a 13-play, 55-yard drive. Some really tough running in there from Raymond, the running back, and from Callie Manis as well, to be fair to him. But they escaped by the hairs of their chinny chin chin from this one, right? It's the offense looks good for Rutgers for a change, but I mean that defense. Ohio, it's a well-oiled machine. They've got a veteran quarterback. They know what they're doing. Obviously not phased by the new coach. It was a really impressive recovery from the Bobcats, made for an absolutely thrilling game, and they'll take a lot of positive away from this while Rutgers will thank their lucky stars. They're 1-0, and there's going to be a lot for them to improve on this year.
Yeah, it was one of those classic ones where I think they just took that. They came out the second half. They thought the job were done. They came out in like first gear and they never got out of it. They were very comfortable with that 31-14 lead. Ohio, like I say, Rutgers had no answer for the tight ends. The tight ends, like I say, there's a trio of them. They were just killing them on these short routes. And Parker Navarro is one of the best dual threat QBs in the G5. Like the guy can run. And like I say, he took some serious licks as well. He was diving head first. He was getting every extra yardage he could. He's a physical guy. And like I say, it was very comfortable. They were happy to play from behind as well, that second half, like, because they knew they were underdogs. They were happy to come out the second half and just start moving the ball up and down the field. Rutgers started the half too slow. In the end, kind of had to hang on. And really, they did get fortunate that they were able to just cling on and not end up going into overtime. So it was very lucky, I'd say, a clutch performance. Jai Patel, I think he set a new record for Rutgers for most consecutive field goals as well. I think he set that. So yeah, good for them. I think Shiano probably breathed a big sigh of relief when that clock hit all zeros because the second half performance by them but it was not good. Wasn't Scarlet Knight standards, but it proved offensively that the Bobcats have got more than enough firepower to go into their season and cause some serious trouble. I think Navarro, this could be the best year of his career.
It feels like one of those where both teams is going to benefit from this. Rutgers still get their win, but they uncover a lot of flaws in the system. Ohio, they did look tremendous. The drives were sustained, and again, we're just going to have a look through their story here. So, we
GT
got
Sheffield had a massive game. I was very impressed by him. He's a transfer, isn't he? I
He
think.
is. I keep mixing him up with the Purdue one. He's not the Purdue one. I think it was DT Sheffield. This one's a different guy. But yeah, with looking here at the stats, obviously you look at the win probability. Rutgers were ahead for most of this, so the win probability was always in their favor, despite the fact when it came to 31-31. But look at all that green on the team stats from both teams. 6.5 yards of play from Ohio, 6.7 from Rutgers, 11% explosive play rate for Ohio, 10% for Rutgers. Third down success rate. Now, this is a concern. So 53% for Ohio, just 23% for Rutgers. And that's the problem I've had with Callie Manis over the years. Like, he's good and he's getting better, but converting third downs under those pressure plays, they seem to do struggle a little bit at the moment. 15% havoc rate for Ohio. The defense did well against the Rutgers offensive line, just 10% for Rutgers there. And, you look at the drives. Rutgers drives started at their own 44. They
Finished
got good.
good on 11 drives.
Hmm.
That's good special teams returning and blocking.
It is. You've got some real good ones there. And look at the stop rate for both teams. Just 8% for Ohio, 15% for Rutgers. Most of these drives went for points, but Ohio's defense better. 8 tackles for loss, 7 against the run, which is what Rutgers like to do. They had a sack on the day. No sacks for Rutgers at all. So Ohio's offensive line did its job where it could. Turnovers. Neither team committed a turnover. So clean football from both of them in what was such a high scoring game when turnovers could have been critical. There may have been some downs. The downs don't count for this. Going into your offensive production, quite similar. 262 passing yards for Ohio, 252 for Rutgers, 204 rushing yards for Ohio. I guess against power opposition, so that's really good for the Magpies on 33 runs. 157 yards for Rutgers, 6.1 yards per carry for Ohio on there. And, we get down to the stats of the teams here. Parker Navarro, as you mentioned, 23 of 38, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers. On the ground, 9 carries, 93 yards, a touchdown, no fumbles. He's throwing at nearly 7 yards per play. He's running at nearly 10 yards per play. 4 total touchdowns, no turnovers. He's got Sia Bangora back there, 90 yards for him on debut. Chase Hendricks broke out, 10 catches, 127 yards on 15 targets. Someone was favorited there. I mean, as far as the Ohio offense goes, I mean, it did really well for its first time there. But for Navarro, those numbers are very good against what is a very good defense.
Yeah, he'll be very happy with his performance, even despite the loss. If he can do that against a good Big Ten defense, what's he going to do against the defenses that can't handle it? Like I say, those Williams, Bruno, like I say, those tight ends are going to feast on some of those defenses. Big physical guys, they're really good in the red zone. Bangora, big physical back. Like I say, he's very comfortable in the backfield. He's also able to catch it out the backfield. So it's a well coached offense with a good quarterback that is very much in control most of the times here. They really did, like I said, they put that Rutgers deep height. So like I said, the block kick was what changed the game. That
Mm.
block don't happen. They come out of the half. Ohio probably maybe get to overtime at worst.
Special teams. Special teams is what wins you games. For Rutgers, Again, not a bad day. Calliot Manis, 18 of 24, so he's throwing at 75%, 247 yards, two touchdowns. He ain't a runner at all. Running backs, now obviously modern guy is gone, but you got Antoine Raymond running at 5.8 yards per clip, 15 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown. You got CJ Campbell, 10 carries, 70 yards. That's going at 7 yards per clip. And as we mentioned, the receivers. They finally seem to have some legit receivers in the room. DT Sheffield, four catches for 85 yards. Ian Strong, who looked tremendous, by the way. I don't really know much about him. Seven catches on seven targets. Everything that went his way, he caught. 100 yards for him on the day. I mean, it. We'd hope with Rutgers they would find parity. If the defense is as good as it can be the last few years, this level of offense with it, like they make some serious waves in the Big Ten if they can just balance this out again a bit.
Yeah, Elliott Manis right now has matured that greatly from his time at Minnesota. He is a far superior quarterback than we ever thought of him there. And I think, yeah, if these, like I say, it could be a good, strong receiving core. You've got a decent pair of backs behind you. They will definitely cause some headaches for Big Ten defense to can play that good complementary football. I think Scarlet Knights, yeah. I mean, at worst, like I say, they've got to win a ball game. Like I say, 7, 8, 9 wins. Like they should really be kind of like shooting for the moon this year.
Absolutely, they should. Just showing you some more of the stats this website uses here. You can look at all the scoring plays. You can look at the drive plays, see what's going on there. You can, and then they have a thing where you can see all the plays. So if you want to find a specific point of the game, you could just go through as this is where I get all my information from. It's absolutely loaded. In terms, and I'm going to have to stop sharing here because they don't do as much on the defensive side of the ball. But in terms defensively. Start with Rutgers. Obviously, the linebacker we're both like Jaborn Daniel. Great day for him. Five tackles, two run stops, negative playing coverage. I mean, he looks like he might be one of the next big ones there. Moses Walker, the other linebacker, he had 11 tackles, three quarterback pressures, nine run stops, had one reception for 5 yards against him. And then you go back to the corners. Jacoby Henderson. Targeted three times, has one reception for -4 yards, so it's a negative play there. Pass breakup for him, battered pass at the line of scrimmage as well. I mean, it wasn't the greatest performance in the world from these guys, but individually, we know those linebackers are dangerous. They did play well. The corners, for the most part, did all right. But there's individually good parts in there for Rutgers. They just need to bring it together a bit.
Yeah, the middle and the back end was good. The only place we struggled was up front. Their defensive line, like I say, it didn't get any pressure. Like I say, Parker Navarro was just way too comfortable for most of the day. Like I say, the DTs and edges, there were very few quarterback hits, even when they did get to him, he was releasing it. So that's probably the one thing they need to work on this week is, yeah, getting off the snap better.
Mm, absolutely. For Ohio, secondary needs to get a bit better there. Calliot Manis was torching them a little bit. No interceptions, no pass breakups for the entire team. Their standout defender was Michael Molinar, the middle linebacker. Two quarterback hits, two hurries, eight tackles, four run stops, one reception given up on one target for just 7 yards. No yak there, so good middle part of that defense there. But yeah, they just need to tighten things up in that secondary, and maybe games like this will turn it around. And of course, the special teams as well needs to get better. But tremendous game. Rutgers beating Ohio 34 to 31, and hopefully for both teams, we'll see much better. We'll see, equally good performances as the season goes on. Right, moving it on to later on the. This is weird because it crosses from Thursday night to Friday with it, but a few more games done on the Friday. NC State, and Ryan owes me an apology here, beat East Carolina. Granted, it was only by a touchdown, which is a little closer than I would have liked it to be, but 24 to 17 winners there nonetheless. NC State unbeaten on the year. Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, they had a 29-0 win over St. Francis. Delaware in the Delaware Derby, not a good start for our former NFL pro at charge of Delaware State. They lost 35 to 17. Wyoming shut down Akron in what was probably, I didn't watch much of it, most have been the most boring game of the week. Wyoming won 10-0. Akron, the Zips got zip, as they say. And then moving on to one of our teams to watch this year, and Ryan has the dubious honor of looking after this one, but the UCF Knights started off their season against Jacksonville State, and maybe not the scoreline they were predicting, Ryan. They also only won by one score, 17-10.
Yeah, it was. I knew it wasn't going to be great, but yeah, they really did struggle. Jacksonville State, despite losing some of their top talent and their coach, they brought everything. So it was a pretty good first start from their new quarterback, UCF. They did play both. Taven Jackson did look pretty good for the most part. There were no turnovers, played a pretty clean game. Their run game was fairly sound. Montgomery, their running back, so Miles Montgomery was their leading receiver and leading rusher. Actually had a tremendous day. 24 touches, 150 yards. So he was very good. Like I say, was an all-round weapon on the day there. Had a good day against the quarterback, got a couple of sacks, got the turnover in the end. Like I say, they've got a huge issue kicking though, and that there was known before camp. They did have two kickers. So they had one missed a field goal and two kicked extra points. So Ruales, they don't trust from distance. He's just an extra point kicker right now. But Venere only made one of his two kicks on the day, and he is the punter. So whether or not one's battling an injury or not, but they are looking a bit shaky in the special team game department right now. But it was one of those where they were just happy to get over the line. Jacksonville State, we know what they're about. They want to run the ball and they want to run it as a collective. And they did that. They chewed up the UCF front pretty well. Like I say, they had about 150, 160 collective yards on the ground. Under centre, that's kind of where it fell apart for them, really. Williams sat their new quarterback, the former
Rutgers.
Kentucky and Rutgers guy. So they're not the big P5 transfer that came in. Less than 50% completion, less than 140 yards, and an interception on the day. Not a good start for him. And ultimately, they were just able to not, they couldn't answer back because they just didn't have that power to threaten the UCF secondary. They were just relying on a run game, which was taking up too much time on the clock. And also, they had their own special teams miss where they also missed a field goal. So, yeah, it was a messy start from both teams. There were a lot of things they weren't glad, but Scott Frost will be delighted to come back, pick up the next chapter, and start off with a win. And yeah, Tim Jackson showed a lot of flashes. Fancher also came in as well. Like I say, completed only 5 for 932, but it's good to see both of them. But it looks like Tim Jackson will probably going forward be the starter for them. He had a good day out, and yeah, it was a potential banana skin for them, I feel like, but they managed to avoid it. And yeah, they will be better going forward. There were plenty of things they need to work on, but in the end, I think it was a good win against what's now I'd consider a pretty strong opponent.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. And there was a big weather delay in the game, wasn't there, as well, I
Yes.
think, at one point. So I think it was just towards the end of the first half,
Things to
potentially,
clean up
which
on
didn't
the
really.
9 flags for UCF. Not
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And turnovers, -2, four fumbles, three they lost. Can't be doing that. Can't lose a turnover margin. Thankfully, it didn't cost them, but yeah, big one. Cam Fancher started, bench Tavon Jackson looked like $1 million. Maybe a blessing in disguise so early because
I actually
Fancher
think
got.
it wasn't a bad decision now. I feel like Fancher will struggle to get that job back again.
I think he got not strip sacked, but I think he went on a run, didn't he? He got forced fumbled, and I think they pulled him
Yeah.
instead, just like, yep, that's enough. And their
Very,
fans
yeah.
really do not
He's
like
on a
him.
short leash. Like I say, that is a quick way to sit your quarterback.
The fans really don't like him either. I was like looking afterwards, and like the fans hate him. I'm like, what's he done, Pub? He's only a transfer, but
They got the perfect bounce back game this week though against North Carolina A&T, where they can
uh,
kind of put it all together and click on it. But then Chapel Hill, well, maybe no, that's probably a game UNC should be worried about.
yeah, at this point, they probably should be. I think they should be worried about every single game that they're going to play there. But like you said, there are things there. Nearly 500 yards of offense from UCF. Just did
Their
again.
offense is very good. And Miles Montgomery, he looks like a real deal. He is a
Yeah.
attacking threat. For a team that just lost RJ Harvey, one of the best running backs in the country, to then
Mm.
have a guy and, like you say, take over the job and have 150 yards from scrimmage. I think they're gonna be getting a new like fan favorite there very quickly.
Yeah, and it's good because we've lost all these running backs, so we're seeing all the new guys now, and it's sort of fun seeing these guys for the first time. Like, all right, what are
Senior
these
though, like I
about?
say, so he's only gonna have 1 year, but Miles Montgomery is gonna get a massive workload this year.
Oh, absolutely, by the looks of it.
And
So,
he's from Jacksonville, Florida, so he was playing against his home
mm,
team essentially. So that was probably sweet for him.
he was. Someone else who might get a look, Cam Cook, the Jacksonville State running back. He chugged along nearly 4.5 yards a carry, so he's been the leading guy there for a couple of years. So maybe he'll get some draft looks as well. But yeah, this is sometimes the non-con schedule is good for a team because it just exposes the flaws in there. UCF have a lot to work on. They were favored by 20.5 points for this and just won by the 7. So we'll see. But a win is a win, just like the same with NC State. A win is a win, and you will take all the wins you can get. Other games on the slate. Oklahoma State beat UT Martin 27-7. Missouri absolutely walked off Central Arkansas 61-6. Duke beat Elon 45-17. Houston beat SF. Who the hell's SF? I can't remember. 27-0. I will remember that in a moment.
Stephen S.
SFA.
Austin?
SFA. Oh,
Stephen
it
F.
might.
Austin, yeah, I've suggested.
Stephen F. Austin, yeah. Oh, that's not. They got shut out, 27-0. Houston won that one there. Big high scorer in Birmingham, UAB 52, Alabama State 42. One HBCU who put up a serious fight this
And
weekend.
quarterback won the FCS Player of the Week as well.
He looks good.
HBCU Player of the Week, I mean.
He looks really good, the Alabama State quarterback does, and probably have a look at him at some point. Wisconsin shut out Miami of Ohio 17-0. And then there's San Diego State shut out Stony Brook 42-0. There's three other games I want to mention here. Minnesota against Buffalo, the Golden Gophers starting their season off. And I mean, this was everything maybe I kind of wanted it to be. Minnesota win 23-10, but Buffalo gave them a good shot. Minnesota were favored by 16.5, didn't cover just the 13 points in the end, and the Buffalo offense was pretty turgid. They got 164 yards of offense on the day against Minnesota's 528. Minnesota had pretty much double the offensive plays. They had triple the offensive yardage. They had double the yards per play. They had far bigger EPA for that. But Buffalo's defense was absolutely tremendous. But I'm going to focus on Minnesota first. Drake Lindsay looked really good, Ryan. 21 of 35, 306 yards, two touchdowns. There was an interception, but we're not going to call it that because it bounced off one of his own players' helmets right into the air. I don't think it was really on him, but really good start from the freshman. Targets all over the place. Jalen Smith, Jamison Greers, Darius Taylor in the backfield. He had a 140-yard rushing day on 30 carries as well. They're going to need to be a little bit more efficient going forward, but considering they're coming up against a Buffalo defense stacked full of preseason all-conference players who's really good, I thought it was a really good debut from the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Yeah, they did the things I needed to see. They moved the ball up and down the field very well. The red zone, yeah, it wasn't a good day in the red zone. They did not turn all that yardage into points. But that's probably the easiest thing to fix. New quarterback comes in. Yeah, like I say, the completion percentage, yeah, he was inaccurate. But like I say, he got good players. He got an 10% reception. It's just, yeah, it's building chemistry. Like I say, he needs to just get on the same page as his receivers very quickly. It helps having one of the best running backs in the country because Darius Taylor was just monster on the day in both actual weapons. Like I say, going through the running and receiving the ball, he's going to be the guy this year. If Minnesota's going to do anything, it's going to go through number one. He is a do-it-all weapon, one of the most underrated players in the Big Ten. Koi Parrish, like I say, got his first reception for the team. Now he's going two ways, like Travis Hunter did. He's now a receiver and a defensive back. But yeah, good day receiving. They spread it out pretty well. Plenty of guys got more than one reception on defense. Yeah, they were physical on defense as well. They had a really good day themselves with 7 tackles for loss.
I love Jameson Gears, the tight end. He looks legit. I think since they had the one drafted the other year, they've been looking for a new one, but he looks absolutely tremendous. But like I say, the defense was tremendous, and it started off with the best named linebacker in all of college football, Maverick Baranowski, looked absolutely tremendous. 9 tackles, 7 run stops, 1 target given up for just a single yard for him. 2 sacks on the day. Anthony Smith, projected round 1 pick this year. He starts off his season with a sack. Devon Williams, one of the linebackers, they brought him up on a blitz. He had a sack and 2 quarterback hits on the day, made life very difficult for Taquan Roberson. And then the secondary lockdown. Zaquan Bryan, the cornerback, 1 target given up on, oh, sorry, 1 reception given up on 4 targets just for 4 yards. He had a pass breakup. Koi Karp had a really good day as well. He wasn't targeted at all. They tried to go nowhere near him, but like I say, it was a really good performance. And the guys who need to stand up, the linebackers are getting there. Anthony Smith looked good. This was a good, really early out in season for them.
Yeah, it's a defense that often gets overlooked. But if
Mhm.
anything, PJ Fleck in his time at Minnesota, it's been all defense. You look at their draft prospects and all the players that have gone pro, apart from like Rashad Bateman, like say as an offensive skill player, and like say a few like all-line guys, it's been all defense. And a lot of it, like say, a D-line and secondary. That's what they pride themselves on. But yeah, very stout in the middle. Fantastic group of linebackers, very physical. And yeah, they kept Buffalo at bay. They were at arm's length all day. They could have easily shut them out if they wanted to. But yeah, not a good start for Roberson with a guy that we've never been that high on. And like I said, this is another kid. Last chance saloon feels like I say, was it what was it Penn State when he was their backup, and we thought he's going to be the heir apparent to
Yeah.
yeah, but it never really panned out. And here he is now in Buffalo with a good set of weapons. Don't get me wrong, like I say, Buffalo have got a good set of receivers, but yeah, he just doesn't feel like they. You feel like their old system, like say, a strong pass heavy offense like I say, and how they are now with Robertson. That yeah, he's a bit jittery. Like I say, he's not always as confident. Step onto the pocket, deliver the strike. I feel like they're going to rely on their defense to win them a lot of games this year. I just don't see that offense doing it.
No. The bright spot for Buffalo on offense, Victor Snow, the wide receiver, we know very well. 5 catches, 67 yards. He got a tutty as well. Like, again, he was giving that Minnesota defense problems. Probably one of the only ones he did. Really showed himself out as the prospect on there. But you've got to give kudos to the Buffalo defense under the cosh for a long time, forced to eat a lot of defensive drives. So get this, Minnesota's defense was only on for 43 plays. Buffalo had 78 their defense was out there for. They got 2 sacks, one from Kobe Stewart, the insanely good edge that I keep mentioning. He had a bit of an iffy day, had a few good run stops, had the sack, few issues with him, but he's playing power 4 opposition there. But the secondary, the safeties look great there. Miles Greer, 9 tackles, 3 run stops, targeted twice, didn't give up a reception, had a pass breakup, and then Jalen McNair, the free safety. 9 tackles, 3 run stops, targeted 3 times, gave up 1 reception, which admittedly was for a 60-yard touchdown, but the other 2 were PBUs. If Buffalo's going to win the MAC this year, which they could, the defense is probably going to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and you can see why there's some genuine studs here. And even against Minnesota, I thought they acquitted themselves very well. 23 points on the road is not shabby.
No. Like I said, they did a good job against the defense. As you say, that despite being on the field for most of the game, it didn't run out of steam. It kept going right until the final whistle and final second clocked off. Yeah. Buffalo, if they're going to win the match, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be their defense doing it. It's going to be their defense keeping the opposition under a reasonable goal that Taquan Roberson is able to chase down. And I'm not quite sure right now how low that floor will have to be for that offense to score enough points. I do worry about them.
Yes, I do as well. But yeah, good for Minnesota. Nice early win there for your mile marker. The Gophers do look good, and that'll have been a really good outing for Lindsay to calm his nerves. And for Buffalo, still a lot of the season to play in the MAC schedule to come, so a lot to look forward to. One of the other games to mention, first team in the doghouse with me and Ryan this year was first in the pick watch. Cincinnati screwing the pooch at home against Nebraska. They lost 20 to 17, and Brendan Sorby might be the worst quarterback in the Big 12. This all went through the running game. I mean, they traded field goals to start this off. Nebraska got another one. Got to the second half and they started trading touchdowns. Dylan Royola had touchdown passes to Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key. Sorsby had two rushing touchdowns, but as a passer, he was 13 of 25 for 83 yards and an interception. Dude cannot throw the ball whatsoever. Raiola, better day. 33 of 42, 237 yards, two touchdowns. Emmett Johnson had a 100-yard rushing performance there. A lot of good targets used, but an imminently forgettable game, Ryan, and Cincinnati letting us down at home. Nebraska look okay, but I don't fear for either of these teams doing anything special this year.
No. Watch the highlights. Nebraska will not live up to lofty heights. Yes, they won. I'm still not enamored with Raiola. Like I say, he just yeah. I out. It's going to take a lot for him for me to consider him one of the top two QBs in the country. Cincinnati, it feels like the coaching staff will be on a short leash this year. It's going to be probably another rough year for them. And yeah, Salisbury, bad day at the office, could be a rough year for them. The two teams that probably just happy to win a bowl game, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be the limit of their aspirations both this year. And then the final game on the Friday slate, the one the show is named after. Tarletons and Charlatans. I never thought I would get to put the word charlatan in a college football pod title, but here we go. You never know when the opportunity is going to present itself. I'm not worried about them at all, was Brent DeWitt's comment last week when we mentioned that FCS upsets picked for the first 2 weeks of the years had amongst them Tarleton State on the road at Army West Point, the current American champions, and let's just say a vastly favored team in this. Army were 15-point favorites going into this, even as the triple option team. And to be fair, they started this game like they were the favorites. I mean, to be fair, Tarleton did get their licks in to start a 30-yard Brad Larson field goal, started things off for Tarleton. But then Army's offense kicked into gear after a couple of slow drives. Dwayne Coleman, the new quarterback there, obviously now their star is gone. He had a 26-yard touchdown run, really good 26-yard touchdown from him, in fairness, to give Army the lead. But then Tarleton and their star running back Trey Page, who had an absolutely monster outing in their first game against Portland State the other week in week 0, he made his name known. He got a 10-yard touchdown run to put Tarleton back ahead. Army turned this round very quickly with 2 minutes to go before the half. They got a field goal from Dawson Jones. He hit it from 24 yards out. Got a really quick 3-and-out on Tarleton State. Had enough time to have one more drive in the half. And Cale Helms, one of the new he's the backup quarterback, but also the backup quarterback plays a running back role in Army's system. With 15 seconds left of the half, he got a touchdown, 17-10 to Army going into the half. They come out in the second half, score first. Hayden Reed, one of the fast group of running backs out there. Really good 37-yard touchdown run from him. Puts Army up 24-10 on Tarleton with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, and you're thinking, yeah, this one's probably done at this point. Army ain't giving up a 14-point lead to FCS opposition at home. But how wrong could you be? Because the Army quarterback starts throwing interceptions. They're very, very aggressive considering their two scores up. Tarleton State got a rushing touchdown of their own through Caleb Lewis with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. They turn Army over twice. And then they get another touchdown with 9 minutes to go in the game. So Dawson Hearn, he had a 15-yard touchdown pass from Victor Gabalis, who is the Tarleton State quarterback. And this evens it up at 24-24, and it remains this way for the rest of the game. Army have an opportunity to walk this thing off. It was about a 40-yard field goal for their kicker, Dawson Jones. It's his first ever collegiate game. He missed it and sent this one to overtime. Both teams knock a field goal in overtime. Brad Larson first up 28 yards. He gets his going. Army, Dawson Jones, the poor young kicker, he has a 40-yard field goal attempt, which is successful to send it into second overtime. Really confident kick from the young man. Tarleton are able to get themselves close again. They get themselves to the Army 20 in second overtime. Brad Larson nails it from 37 yards to put Tarleton 30 to 27 up on Army. And then Army have a drive of their own, and Dawson Jones, the young kicker, is asked to save his team for a second time, and he is unable to. It was a 43-yard field goal attempt, which he missed. And Tarleton State, for only the second time in their history, as a Division One team. I mean, they were only Division Two till about 5 years ago, but a lot of money's been put into this program. They've only been in the FCS for 5 years. Their biggest upset of a team taking down the American champions. They are now 2-0 on the season, and their new FCS power rankings are out, and they are fourth behind just North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and I think Montana or Montana State. I mean, what an absolutely tremendous performance, right? We talked about them, they're wanting to come up to the FBS. They've put a lot of money into that program. They've got a lot of talent on that team. They're 42-0 arse whooping of Portland State in week one. And you're thinking, if you're an Army fan, okay, we need to watch this team. There's obviously a lot of offensive talent there. And I mean, they came into Army's background, took them down, and did it so in a big ass kicking fashion and in a clutch fashion, having to go to several overtimes to win this thing. I mean, we're seeing a legit contender in the FCS potentially this year. They made waves in the playoffs this year. They seem to have gone up a level.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance. They executed on offense, defense when it needed it most. Their kickers, their holders, the long snappers all came up clutch and delivered very well. And we're looking at a future star in college football, Trey Page the third, redshirt freshman running back, 260 yards he's got in 2 games. 5'9", like you say, he's short, he's stout, but he's one of the most explosive players in the country right now. This guy is having a tremendous start to the season. Like I say, he looks like the real deal, and he is someone that this offense is going to be able to lean on this year. Gabales did a good job. Like I say, he protected the ball. He did what he had to do. He picked his shots very carefully when he needed to. He didn't want to make any mistakes. He had a fantastic year last year. He wants to follow that up this year. Yeah, Tarleton State are certainly a team to watch in the FCS playoffs this year, making a run, potentially sneaking in, and making a push. They're not someone I'd want to play this year right now. And this is another one where chalk it up to their resume. Yeah, FBS is calling. They're a big team, like say Texas. It's a huge state. They are the Texans. They want to be competitive. There's a lot of teams up here in that area in the FBS, and they'll fancy their chance against some of them. They will feel very comfortable about going some of those G5 Texas teams and pulling off some upsets. But yeah, on the flip side, oh, that was a bad day for Army. Bad day for a new quarterback. Rough day for special teams. That run defense that they pride themselves on so well, being incredibly stout and just being physical and disciplined. Yeah, parted like the Red Sea at times. A lot of things to fix in West Point.
And the new quarterback is hurt. He got hurt in the last drive of regulation. So now I don't know what the injury status is to him. We'll have to see, but it might be Helms next week. So starting a second quarterback in a row is not ideal. But, I've got the game on paper thing up here. You can see the probability in this game. Army winning this pretty much all the way through. There's a couple of dips towards Tarleton at the end, but Army will favour us all the way through this until Tarleton threw the proverbial wrench in. But it's hard to look at the stats with a triple option team like Army. You're never going to get the massive EPA per play or the yards per play, but there's not much difference here. So 5.2 for Tarleton State yards per play, 5.6 for Army. Both got good havoc rates, both got into the backfield pretty well. But Tarleton State, 10 tackles for loss in the running game. Army's offensive line is
They need to
good.
run the ball.
It's
If
got
Army don't run the ball, they can't play their game. They can't play
no,
the style.
it's got three all-conference players in there. One of the best centers in college football. Janelli at right guard's one of the best right guards in there. You can't be giving up 10 tackles for loss against the rush. Two interceptions. Dwayne Coleman had to start airing the ball. He
They
doesn't
were
look the
panic
best
throws, wasn't it?
passer.
Because they were wildly bad throws as well.
Yeah, they weren't, unlucky interceptions. They were bad interceptions. And that figures, you look at the turnover margin here, +2 for Tarleton State. Turnover look accounts for 8 points. They won by three. Turnovers cost eight. So turnovers mean a lot there for Army. You can't keep turning the ball over as you do. In terms of the offense, 144 passing yards for Tarleton, 129 for Army. The rushing. Army had more, 263 rush yards, but only 4.2 yards per carry. Tarleton, 194 yards at 6.4 yards per carry. 2.2 yards per carry, more than Army per play. That is not a good recipe for a triple option team, and it came to bite them. And you look at the stats here. Gabalis, the Tarleton State quarterback, I mean, he looks decent. 14 of 27, so about 52% passing, not the best, but 134 yards and a touchdown. Didn't turn it over, which is crucial. Not really a rusher. He did fumble the ball once, but Trey Page, as we said, 14 carries, 89 yards and a touchdown, 6.3 yards per carry. Caleb Lewis, the other running back, 13 carries, 96 yards and a touchdown, 7.3 yards per carry. Like, two running backs, running back rotation, Ryan, wearing Army down, playing them at their own game.
Yeah, it was a very much a war. It was a battle of attrition. It was trench warfare. And in the end, the Army D line, their linebackers core, even in a heavy box, could not handle a rotation of two QBs. Like I say, 13 carries, 14 carries, perfectly fresh, no fatigue. Like I say, they were rotating them at a good constant pace, if not having them both on the field at the same time. Say you can spread them out. There's a lot of stuff you can do with these two guys. It's going to be very difficult to slow them down or, like I say, make them run out of steam.
Absolutely. In Army's case, Dwayne Coleman threw 12 times. That's a lot for an Army quarterback. 7 of 12 for 129 yards, two picks. Noah Short, this might be one of the first times we actually talk about an Army receiver being good. I know they like Noah Short as a receiver. He's a great blocker as well. He had five catches for 79 yards on the day, so they clearly want to throw the ball more this year, and they do have a legit receiver to do it with. Obviously, the running back room by committee. They had six different guys have a carry. Three of them got into double-digit carries. That's what they're going to do there. Helms will be the starter going forward. He had a rushing touchdown, so, good for him. But yeah, that is a big loss for Army to start the season. Obviously, it does not affect their American aspirations. It's just a non-conference game. But I mean, just in terms of looking ahead, right, Tarleton, you might be talking about them a lot in the FCS playoff run this year. They've two big wins to start their year now, and you don't get a bigger win than Army.
No, momentum. Like I say, they've got their offensive line. They're all on the same. They're singing from the same hymn sheet. They're creating big holes. They've got a potential plethora of running backs. They've got a quarterback basically that just doesn't have to turn the ball over, and that offense has got a chance to score points. And like I say, a defense that, yeah, it's given up a lot of yardage, but it also got 10 tackles for loss in the
Mm.
run game. That havoc rate, they're getting in the backfield, they're getting behind the line of scrimmage. Like I say, they may get shipping points, but that's still a lot of happy. I'd be very happy with that still. They're still causing a lot of headaches for offensive coordinators. So, yeah, that's a big scalp for them. And that will worry other FCS teams. I'd be worried if I were playing these. I'd be thinking, how do I stop Trey Page third?
Yeah, absolutely, you will. So yeah, great win for Tarleton State and for Army. There is always next week, and of course they are the reigning American champions. So hopefully they will bounce back quick
Back
from
to the running
this.
ball. Back to running the ball for Army as well. If their passing quarterback's hurt, it's going to be back to pure triple
Yeah.
option.
Do what you do best. That's how you did it last year, and you just sprinkle the right amount in as well. Right, let's move on to the Saturday, and it's been going like an hour now, and we've not mentioned any of the big three, so we're going to go straight into this. And obviously, the biggest fixture of the entire weekend, number one played number three, Texas on the road at Ohio State, and oh my lordy. How did we get this one wrong? One of the, and before I go through this, I'm going to put up the, so Texas 7, Ohio State 14, in which is a game I've just not used to seeing such bad offense. And I think that it was bad offense rather than really good defense. But let's just get into the stats here for you. Bear with me one moment. Let's put this up again. And we look at all the purple on this for the offensive plays here. Success rate of plays 39% for Texas, 33% for Ohio State. Yards per play 5.1 for Texas, which is 30th percentile, 3.76 for Ohio State, which is 4th percentile. Both negative EPA per dropbacks, both negative EPA per rush. 5% explosive play rate for Texas, 4% explosive play rate for Ohio State. Ohio State. Only 38% third down success rate for Texas, 29% for Ohio State. Red zone, Texas only 27%. That's 23rd percentile. 43% for Ohio State, which is a little better. It's the only little bit of green on this board. Havoc rate, 7% and 5% respectively. There was just one sack in this game. Ohio State's defense had one tackle for loss. That was it. Texas had four tackles for loss, four against the rush. Look at the offense.
You see Ohio
200.
State's like field position. They started behind the touchback line 11 times. They
Yeah,
won the game every drive starting at their own 20.
yeah, and Texas started at their own
Texas
39.
had double the field advantage on every drive.
Yeah, plays per drive, nearly seven for Texas, barely five for Ohio State. Offensive yardage, 203 offensive yards for Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith usually has that on a game on his own. 342 for Texas, pretty much evenly spread between the run and the pass, and they were pretty much 50-50 in this game, so kudos to that. But the passing EPA was minus 14. There was nothing through the air whatsoever. Special teams, nothing remarkable in there, but we come to the stats of the day, and this was quite clearly, Ryan, two new starters at quarterback, two offenses replacing a lot of missed talent from last year. You'd think Texas had a little bit more in there, but I was watching this and I felt like there was this, Arch struggled. This is the first massive game of his career. He's played a lot of non-con slobs in his starts in recent years, and you could tell this was the first huge game he'd played in. 17 of 30, 175 yards, a touchdown, two interceptions, only got sacked once. Wasn't like they were all over him all the time. Um, and on the flip side, Julian Sayin looked a little bit better. He had a clean game. 13 of 20, 126 yards and a touchdown. But this was just a game where neither offense got going, and both defensive coordinators seemed to just figure out a way to absolutely nullify the others. I've never seen Jeremiah Smith so bottled up in his life. I mean, six catches for 43 yards, but targeted 10 times. There were not many big plays there. This is just an incredible game for what we were expecting. We were not expecting a 21-point game and Ohio State having 200 yards of offense throughout the entire thing. It was a week one game where the offenses looked like they hadn't met one another.
Yeah, it was it was a tough watch. It was sad. I was sad. Like I say, this was like a full-on Dick Turpin highway robbery. If you look on paper, Ohio State had no right to win this game. And it pains me to say it, and I tweeted it, but Matt Patricia, he called one hell of a game on defense. The stats weren't there, but the play calls at the right times to just put doubt in Manning's mind, make him, like, say, doubt himself at periods of time. It worked. Like, say, ultimately what it comes down to is who played the clean game. Saying wasn't any more confident. He wasn't any more productive. Like I say, but he did not put the ball in harm's way. Whereas Arch Manning, because of, well, the kid's probably under the most pressure in the world right now, and he feel that he looked like he had the world on his shoulders. Like the guy on the World's Strongest Man trophy, he was holding the globe and he crumbled. And I think that's partly because of one, the media, two, his family, three, us, the fans and the people, like say, putting almost pressure and talking about him, like say that there's no chance he's going to be in next year's draft. And anyone that thought that, I think is crazy.
Yeah.
He is nowhere near ready. Like I say, he's got a lot of weapons, but yeah, there will be a lot of teething issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And the run game struggled to get going. CJ Donaldson, I'm glad he's got the starting gig there. I think he deserves it after all the work he's done at West Virginia. But 18 carries, 66 yards, that's a slug of a day, 3.6 yards per carry. In fairness, Texas's D-line did really well to stifle the run there. CJ Baxter was only going at 4 yards per carry. Quintravion Wisener looked good. He had like two big runs, and then these stats kind of evened themselves out a
I am
little
worried though,
bit.
like I say, because also Texas, Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, and Silas Bolden all gone. Do
Hmm.
you worry about their receiver core? Because I definitely do.
You do. You look
I don't
here.
think Wingo can hold that up.
You look. Jack Endry's the most targeted player, the tight end. Obviously, Arch looking for his tight end, his good
Gunnar
friend.
Helm's gone. They have lost a lot of receiving threats.
Yeah, and you can kind of see here. There's just no real standouts. DeAndre Moore, two catches on four targets. Ryan Wingo targeted six times, just two catches. CJ Baxter out the backfield. That's 5 of 5, but those are just dump offs. Those are the easy ones. Like only going for 25 yards as well. So tough in terms of Arch there. I say just it makes for rough reading looking through everything here. In terms of yeah, just the offensive EPAs are minus 23 between them. Like that is just goes to show how tough this game was in terms
From
of the
Ryan Day, though,
offense.
I'm delighted winning this game, playing some of the worst football I've seen them play in a while. I would be very happy about that. That tells me a lot about the resilience of your team.
Mm,
Winning good is good, but like I said, if you can win when you're bad, that's better, I'd say.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for Ohio State to give up seven, they're blooding a lot of new guys in here. Standout defender of the day, Caden McDonald, the nose tackle, graded up at 83, had
They've
seven
lost Tyreek Williams,
tackles.
they've lost JT Tuimoloau, they've lost Jack Sawyer. That
They've lo-
defensive front is all gone. They're
yeah.
blooding the whole new D line.
Yeah, they lost it. Caden McDonald saw time in rotation last year, but he's the new nose. He looked tremendous. He had a pressure on the quarterback
My
as
boy Sonny
well.
Styles
Sonny
flying around again.
Styles looked tremendous.
That new corner with the I can't pronounce his last name.
Oh, hang on.
I
Igbinason.
Aya Hibinason. He looked really good.
Yeah, so Igbinason targeted 7 times, did give up 5 receptions, but he had a PBU on the day. Jermaine Matthews, the other corner for Ohio State, targeted 4 times, gave up just 2 receptions. He had an interception and a pass breakup, one of the two to pick off Arch there. And I'd say just overall some really good play. But Sonny Styles looked good. Caleb Downs, 8 tackles for him, 4 run
Oh,
stops.
Atkinson, the big new end from UNC.
Yep.
Great in the run game.
Yep, he had a really good day as well. So, and he had three quarterback pressures as well. So some love in there. So overall, that Ohio State defense did well. The Texas defense, to its credit, only did give up 14 as well. Their defensive line, the tackles got a lot of love, especially for their run defending. Cole Brevard, Alex January, Hero Kanu. They all had tremendous days, didn't give up anything whatsoever. Michael Taft, he's just tremendous as always. 8 tackles, 3 run stops, didn't put a foot wrong. He graded out really high as well. Leona Leafau at linebacker, another one. 8 tackles, 5 run stops, just gave up 2 receptions for 9 yards. It was tough. But the noticeable names that are not in there at the top, obviously Anthony Hill and Colin
Simmons, quiet
Simmons
game.
had a couple of quarterback hits, but
Of course, I named them for the two defensive awards of the year, and they go missing.
the two stars didn't have their best game. So the Texas defense was good, but their stars didn't shine. And ultimately, maybe that's where it came down to. But also at the end of the day, I think if that Texas offense was still playing now, it still probably wouldn't have scored. It's back to the drawing board. I think they need a couple of cupcakes here just to free
Well,
them up a little
luckily they've
bit.
got three cupcakes lined up. Well, no. Next week, I think this week for them is difficult. I think we've got a banana skin this weekend.
Who have they got this weekend?
San Jose State.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're pretty good. And then
Yeah.
you and Sam Houston. So they got three. Yeah. They've got a chance to fill their boots between now and Florida. But yeah, three teams that will look at Texas and they will be licking their lips.
Absolutely, they will. Yeah, this was just a tough one, but obviously Ohio State, they're going to be absolutely delighted to win this. That's, basically guaranteed them a playoff spot if they can do well, do even okay in the Big Ten this year. They'll be absolutely fine for Texas. Yeah, a lot to go through here, the drawing board, and see what happens with them. Obviously, Trey Moore had a bit of a quiet game on the other edge as well, so they need these edge rushers to come back to life quickly. Other games on the Saturday out of the ranked teams, a lot of the ranked teams were in no bother this week. Penn State, number two, beat Nevada 46 to 11 as Singleton and Allen close in on Saquon Barkley's school record. Georgia did away with Marshall 45 to 7. Oregon thrashed Montana State 59 to 13. Illinois destroyed Western Illinois 52 to 3. Oklahoma beat Illinois State 35 to 3. Iowa State destroyed South Dakota 55 to 7. But a couple of games that didn't go according to plan, and one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, and it literally pains me to say this because I know he's going to be waiting there for it. It was, to be fair, one of the performances of the weekend. Kalen DeBoer and Alabama, things not going well, going to Florida State, the Florida State team that went 2-10 last year and looked absolutely atrocious. Um, where did that team go, Ryan? Because I sure as hell did not see that in this one. Alabama started this game okay, and you thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, there's a glimmer of hope here for them. They got the first touchdown of the day. Ty Simpson initially looked pretty good. Really long ass drive down to the Florida State to Josh Cuevas, the receiver who got the touchdown in the end, only from 2 yards out. Nice and easy. But then Alabama's drive chart is rough. After this, 9 plays, 40 yards, 4 minutes 52, missed field goal. 3 plays, 2 yards, punt. 6 plays, 21 yards, punt. 6 plays, 39 yards, turnover on downs. And in this time, Ohio State ran rampant. First, Tommy Castellanos with a 9 yard run on the ground. Then Mekhi Denzi, he got a rushing touchdown from 32 yards out, the quite famous one where he absolutely trucks. I can't remember which Alabama linebacker it was, but he's going to be on Coach's show this week getting ripped out. I think he's already done a video on it. Finished off the first half. Jake Weinberg, 45-yard field goal. So FSU go up 17 to 7 at the half. In fairness, it is absolutely railing it down in Tallahassee for the first half of this game. So teams can't really air it out as much. They have to run it. But the sun is shining in the second half, and Florida State continue to absolutely wreck Alabama. Keziah Holmes, he has a 4 yard run in for a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's 24 to 7. Now, Alabama do threaten a comeback. Connor Talley had a 40-yard field goal. Obviously, he's replaced Graham Nicholson, the former Lou Groza winner from last year. And then Ty Simpson gets his second touchdown pass of the day to Rico Scott from 6 yards out. He gets a touchdown. That's with 11 minutes to go in the game. And it's a one-score game at this point, and you think maybe, just maybe, they're going to come back into it. Well, Florida State put this one to bed. They score on the very next drive. Gavin Sawchuk run on the ground, 14 yards in for a touchdown, puts FSU 31 to 17 up. And Alabama's game finishes with turnover on downs, and Florida State just eat out all the clock possible. They go 9 plays for 16 yards, and it takes over 6 minutes. There's penalties galore. There's all sorts going off. Alabama do not help themselves, and the Seminoles absolutely kick the Crimson Tide's ass, Ryan. This just never felt like Alabama were in it. They kept threatening a comeback, but you never felt genuinely like they had the comeback in them. And Florida State run all over them. And last year's bad season's been forgotten very quickly.
Yeah, Tommy Castellanos had a lot to say. The FSU program had a lot to say before this game. How they didn't fear them, they didn't really respect them, they didn't, yeah, they didn't think much of them. And yeah, they backed it up. If you're going to say a lot, you need to back it up. And on the day, yeah, they turned up. In that first half, the weather made it a tough defensive battle. Like I said, balls carried running the ball, and FSU handled the conditions much better. They were a lot more disciplined. They were really good. Like I say, their special teams came to play in difficult conditions, which is always needed. When the second half played, and when the weather improved, they came out with their foot on the throat and they decided they were going to finish it off and they were going to leave no scraps for potential comeback. It was one of those games where it just felt like the crowd as well. They just sucked the life out of any potential comeback in that second half because they were pretty ferocious. The Crimson Tide fans, they were in tears at halftime. Every camera pan, head in hands. Some of they're so spoiled, some of them. They seem so entitled because they've been so good for so long. They do not take losing well at all. That photo of the guy, like say the camera spots on him, he's just sticking his fingers up on live TV. That just sums it up. Like they do not take losing well. Like yeah, they definitely got a humbling. It feels like.
But they're not just it's the manner in which they're losing. You just saw clip after clip after clip of Alabama players getting pancaked of not putting in 100% effort and like just Florida State wanted this thing more. I mean, I've put up their stats here again. You just look at some of this stuff. For less than 5 yards of play for Alabama, 6.3 for Florida State. Look at those yards per drop back for the quarterback. Over 10 yards per drop back for Florida State. That's 92nd percentile. When Castellanos dropped back to throw, ain't no pressure coming in his direction. 13% explosive play rate for Florida State. Look at that red zone success rate. There's the difference. 100% for Florida State. Every time they got to the red zone, they scored points. For Alabama, it was 38. So that's barely one in three. And that there is the difference of your game converting when it matters. In terms of havoc rate, neither team got into the backfield well, a fair amount. Six tackles for loss for Alabama, but just one sack. Six tackles for loss for Florida State. They did get three sacks on the day. They forced a fumble as well, although it was recovered by Alabama, but it did stop a drive dead. And, we kind of just look at it here and story of the tape, 400 yards of offense for Florida State, 360 for Alabama, but it's the passing yards and the rushing yards. 240 rushing yards for Florida State on this Crimson Tide team. No one runs for Alabama on that much. They
No.
really don't. At 5 yards per play there, only 102 yards on the ground for Alabama. Not able to run it on a wet field, putting it into Ty Simpson's hands, and we'll talk about him in a minute because there's a lot of people who don't like him, especially in his own fan base. Get down to the stats here, and Castellanos he didn't have to do anything. 9 of 14 for 144 yards, nine passes for 144 yards. This was basically a triple option offense in which you can just dart it downfield when you ran so much. He was efficient as you can get and only took the one sack on the day as rushers. There's rushing touchdowns from four different players. 86 yards for Castellanos, 56 on three carries for Micah Danzi. He's got 18.6 yards per carry there. Roydell Williams, although he got hurt, which is a shame. Jalen Lucas got a look in. Sawchuk got a touchdown. Cromer got a touchdown. Um, just really good, efficient running football from Florida State, right? And it's just domination in the trenches. We didn't see it from them last year at all. They were really bad. And I don't know whether it says anything about how good they've become or how bad Alabama are, but I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both too. I feel like the fans are losing hope in DeBoer. I feel like the locker room is not responding to what he's doing, but I also feel like the arrival of Castellanos and some of the the defensive reinforcements and like say some of the recruits have brought a spark to FSU. They've got a bit more life around them. It feels like they've turned a corner. And I feel like it was definitely 50% of one, 50% of the other. And I feel like one of these programs may well be able to claw back and go in the right direction. The other one, I am worried for. And I'm worried for their coach. I am worried for Kalen DeBell's future. I feel like the seat is getting warm.
Yeah, it absolutely isn't it? Just, because we talked about the quarterback
I
the
don't
other
necessarily feel he's
week,
doing anything wrong. I think the first thing to do is, though, I feel like we're going to see Keenan Russell pretty quickly. I
and
think we
as
have to.
we've got to, because you look at Simpson's numbers, and
Simpson didn't
now
have a bad day, but he does not give me confidence.
he's not got the aura. I mean, look at the numbers: 23 of 43, 239 yards, two touchdowns. Great. Six carries, 32 yards. Did okay there. Fine. Those are fine numbers. But you watched him play, and he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't inspire the aura, does he? You don't see him rushing up and galvanizing the team and the team feeding off him. It just does feel like they're waiting for Keelan Russell. And if you're Kalen, you're like, you've got your five-star toy, use him.
Yeah. But like I say, it's one of them things where he can't win because, like I say, you look on paper, Simpson had good stats. If he benches him and brings in Russell, and like you say, let's say the rookie shits the bed in a game, the
Hmm.
ball get more flack for like taking a bad decision. So right now he's kind of in a no lose lose scenario.
No, he is. And, you don't want to rush a decision like Colorado were doing. They're putting their true freshman in this year because they
His
lost their first
defense is a
game.
mess
And
as well. Like I said, they were terrible in the red zone. They couldn't stop a cold in the wrong game. They
no.
put them in a bad position all night. Every time Simpson got the ball back, the field position wasn't good. And like I say, they were getting further and further away. Where you look at the rush stats, they couldn't run the ball because they were falling behind just too quickly.
No, and the wrong receiver dominated today. You can see it there. Jeremy Bernard, 8 catches, 146 yards. Good day for him. And I mean, overshadowed
Ryan
Ryan
Williams got
Williams.
clamped. He was shut down.
But Jeremy Bernard had a good one. He's benefiting. So maybe this whole everyone looking at Ryan Williams this year is going to open up Bernard to a big season. I mean, he's been due. He's been good in that rotation for a while now, and he did look good. He was the one bright spark for them here.
Yeah, he was the one guy that was constantly open because the defense everyone were focusing so hard on other guys. He had free reign all day. Like I said, everything that came his way, he had plenty of guys giving him, like say, soft coverage, and he made the most of it and like racked up a good amount of yardage. So you could respect him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for the Florida State defense, I mean, clap, well done. How great were they? They just gave up absolutely nothing. I
So
mean,
I don't lose that I just don't want to lose that mentality. Like I
no.
said, they need to go into every game with that fire. Like every game is like you hate Alabama.
Yeah, and it started with the safeties came up and did so well against the run. Earl Little Jr. was absolutely fantastic. 8 tackles, 2 run stops, 0 for 2 in coverage, didn't give up a reception on 2 targets there. Then you got the other safety, Ashian Barker. Again, another 4 tackles for him. He got targeted 7 times. He gave up 2 receptions for 30 yards, had 2 pass breakups as well. Like those safeties working better against the run, protecting the corners down the field, just gave Simpson absolutely nothing there whatsoever. And the defensive line was just really good. Pressure came from everywhere. 6 pressures for Daniel Lyons at tackle, 3 for Jenkins on the edge. You got 3 for Stefan Thompson from his outside linebacker position. Like 6 for James Williams. He's the star Nebraska player who came over. He had a quarterback hit 5 on the day there. You can tell the Nebraska DC's made his mark quick because Nebraska have been trash for years. But the one thing that's always been good is the defense. That is a fantastic hire for Florida State, already paying dividends.
Yeah, great hire, hit the ground running quickly. Little Junior had a fantastic game. Those safeties and those physical linebackers, especially in that say stacking the middle, they're going to have a tremendous year this season. They are really aggressive, coming downhill hard, and they're making their presence be felt as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just a team that's night and day. They've done right by the coaching. I think the coaching was rough last year. This year they finally seem to have got it together. In terms of Alabama's side, their defense, it was just rough. LT Overton, another who didn't really show up. There's just one sack on the day from Keon Sabb. He's the free safety. He did better, the freshman safety, but there's not a lot to like on that team at the moment. So they've got to get much better really quick because they've lost a lot of talent on that defense, and a lot of it is young in there now. So well done, Florida State. So you can say that is an absolutely tremendous win, and fair play to them. They deserved it. Even I can say that. No fluke win, no nothing about that. Continuing through Saturday's slate. Indiana found tough sledding against Old Dominion. They won 27-14. Obviously, new quarterback and a hell of a lot of new team there, but they were able to just about put them away in the end. Tennessee avoided the shock against Syracuse, 45 to 26 winners there. Cuse did have them on the rope for a little bit of time, so we'll see. But Joey Aguiar, I mean, he looked really good in day one for Tennessee, considering he's not had much of a season there, an off season there. He's coming quick. I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, I was impressed by him. I think he I think he offers them more than what Nico would have offered if he'd stayed. I think Aguilar comes in with a bit of a chip on his shoulder as a transfer quarterback. He's got a point to prove at a big school. At school, it's got a massive point to prove. I think they're under a lot of pressure, and their head coaches to prove they are a legitimate contender, because I don't think they are. So yeah, Aguilar I think is going to have a big year. I think he's out there on a personal mission himself to prove people wrong.
Yeah, absolutely he is. So hopefully I love him as a player, so I'm hoping that everything goes all right for him there and good first week for him to get in. But Tennessee usually run a scrub non-con schedule, so we'll see how they do against a better opposition. Clunker of the week and a team who nearly left you really red in the face this weekend, right? Because you were bigging them up as a potential dark horse before the season started. How bad did Wake Forest look? Wake Forest 10, Kennesaw State 9. And I watched all this as the sicko that I am. I started watching it, and then it gets to a point in the game when you know it's so bad, but you've got to carry on watching it because you've invested so much time up to this part, and you can't not watch it. But you know it's wrong to watch it because it's an absolutely terrible game. And I mean, the new star edge they got out of Colorado State looked really good. He had a couple of drive stopping plays for them. Gabe Kirsch, I think it was, but oh my God, clunker of the week definitely goes to that, right? 10-9, Wake Forest over Kennesaw State.
I'll let them off though, because Demont Claiborne left after like three drives, didn't come
Mm.
back before injury, and he is their entire offense, to be honest. So that's a worrying start to the season. Now he's a senior, so I hope, and like I say, he's due to come back quickly, but injuries as well. One of their linemen broke his foot, like I say, the first game of the season. So I just feel sorry for them. Like I say, it just feels like another year where it's gonna be. It feels like it's gonna be miserable for them again this year, and yeah. Yeah, they were lucky to survive a potential. It wouldn't even have been that much as an upset, I suppose, really, because when you look at the Kennesaw State Owls, like I say, they've kind of just like I say, they're making their way, finding their feet at the FBS level. It wouldn't have been huge, but Ashford was good. I'll give him that. I've never been his biggest fan, but Robbie Ashford came here, another one in Last Chance Saloon. He was everything. He did everything he could. He put it out there. Like I say, there was a good amount of yardage. It kind of just crumbled in the red zone. Like I said,
Mm.
that's really where they struggled. But where he struggled, where everyone else stepped up, the Wake Forest defense was immense. Their run game, like I said, their linebackers, they were getting turnovers. They were really good. Like I said, they held them to just 300 yards. Like I said, third down, they got Kansas State to like say 19 third downs, held them on no fourth downs, and they just got they out penalized them. So in the end, Wake Forest, yeah, they won with dark arts. Like I say, it
Mm.
was a scrappy game. I think they'll just be relieved going back, but they'll need Claiborne back. Well, pretty much this week straight away though. But yeah, I saw a glimmer of hope with Robbie Ashford.
Yeah, yeah. There's potentially something there, and for both teams, especially defensively, when you
Kansas State actually, like I say, when you think about how last season ended, like say in F33 and then lost to LA Tech, like I say, and they had some blowout losses last year. I actually think that's a good sign for their defense.
Yeah, 10 tackles for loss, 4 against the pass, 6 against the rush, 4 sacks, which was double what Wake Forest got. Like, there was some legit playmakers in that defense there. So the
Well, they're going to need every
CUSA,
playmaker Saturday because their level of competition is stepping up immensely.
the CUSA is there's Kennesaw State have convinced me that they can cause some ripples. They're probably not going to
The
win
USA
it.
is properly wide open.
Yeah, they're
The
probably not
new
going to
teams,
win
like
it.
say, that have come up in recent years are finding their feet.
Yeah, and they are defensively. They seem to have really found their feet there. It's just the offense. So obviously Dexter Williams, the former Indiana quarterback, was there, and he looked meh. He was 12 of 33. Like that's what 33% for a throw in. It's too inconsistent. But he's what a sixth year. He's not played much football, and it kind of shows. So maybe if he settles in, he did some good throws, but you could tell it was
They
like
need
a
to be on
guy
the
who's
look
not
now
played
for like
much.
say next year's quarterback.
Yeah.
They need to find someone.
Yeah, Benyard, the wide receiver they had, like he had like a 120-yard day or something. He looked really good, but yeah, if they just got a settled quarterback in there, Kennesaw State could have won. But Robbie Ashford, 19 of 27, that's good. 205 yards, didn't turn it over. It's fair, but defense has won the day in that absolute clunker, as they say. Moving on through the days, App State beat Charlotte 34 to 11. Um, Hilarious. App State, did you see the receiver? Big ass bomb thrown downfield. He runs into the end zone. He stops. He slows down. And Charlotte DB comes in and knocks it out of his hands.
Punches
And
the
his
ball out.
coach looked like he was actually physically ready to kill him.
Yeah.
Um,
Lost a touchback, didn't it?
yeah, he got
Great
this.
play from the defender though, to like say
Yeah,
give up.
yeah, the young corner got absolutely murked, gets back up, runs after. This receiver just slows like he's coasting and then he just comes in. It's play of the week. And his head coach looked like he was going to kill him. I don't know if he got pulled
AJ
afterwards,
Swan
but
looked fantastic.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Big get for them, like say, because like say he's an SEC quarterback.
Yeah.
Like say he played with like SEC swagger.
Yeah, App State are a threat to make that playoff spot this year. I'd said about them last year, but if they can keep this level up, they look great, although it was just Charlotte, but still. A win is a win. Florida International beat Bethune-Cookman 42 to 9. Michigan State started really good against Western Michigan, then it tailed off, but they won 23-6 regardless. Kansas beat Wagner 46 to 7. Auburn and Baylor. We need to talk about Auburn, right? Jackson Arnold, and I'm just gonna say it just right now in a one-game sample. Jackson Arnold looked absolutely tremendous
Running
in
the
this
ball, that
game.
guy was like liquid as well. Yeah, he with his legs, he was incredible.
We talk about the dual threat ability there, and Baylor's inability to run the ball cost them. It was still a really good game, and I'm going to give it that. Baylor had nearly 500 yards of offense, whereas Auburn only had 400. But here's where it goes: 420 passing yards for Baylor, 81 on the ground. That is not sustainable. In Auburn's case, they only threw for 111 yards. They rushed for 322 yards, 151 yards on 15 carries with 2 touchdowns for Jackson Arnold. Damari Alston, 16 carries, 84 yards. Jeremiah Cobb, 16 carries, 74 yards. That's 3 running backs with 15 carries or more, all going at pretty much 5 yards or better per clip. And in Arnold's case, 10. I mean, and Arnold as a thrower was 11 of 17 for 97. Auburn just 320 yards. That Baylor team doesn't get broken open that easy. 320 yards on the ground.
Yeah, they were carved open. Jackson Arnold, like I say, had his way with them. He was just like I say gliding through people, and a lot of it, like I say, he was just basically that it seemed like their box was so shallow because basically he just got the ball, hole, he looked where the first down marker was, slide. He just literally got the first down and slided. That's all he did. He didn't put himself in harm's way at all. He was very efficient. Like I say, a lot of his runs went for first downs and he milked the clock very well, staying in bounds. Like I say, ultimately, I think the Baylor D, they were scared to hit him. At the threat of a penalty, a lot of time, like I say, they were a bit too soft, I thought. They gave him a bit too much leeway.
But I thought like the sliding, he knew when to slide. He protected himself. He was so smart with how he ran the football, which is he looks like a free man at Auburn now.
Yeah, I think he's got free reign. I I worry for my Cam Coleman Biletnikoff prediction because this feels very much like it's going to be 60-70% Jackson Arnold doing it with his legs.
I
If that
think that,
works for him, I think that's probably the direction they will go in.
I would not. It just felt like they found a method and they ran with it. Like they
Yeah.
didn't need to throw the football. Some weeks they'll probably need to throw the football, but in this one it just felt like they
Ideally,
found a
Jackson Arnold, I
weakness.
think, wants to be a running quarterback, and he's got
Yeah.
the athleticism.
Yeah, they need to find a way to do it. But I mean, just absolutely tremendous from on the ground. On the other side, Sawyer Robertson, I mean,
He
he did
couldn't
what
do
he
no
could.
wrong, really.
No, he did what he could. 27 of 48, 401 yards and three touchdowns. You can't ask for much more for your
His
quarterback.
defense was just bad.
His defense was bad, and the rushing attack, like Bryson Washington, 13 carries for 52
Prendergast,
yards.
did he even suit up? Because he didn't
No.
carry. He didn't play, did he?
No. So I don't know if he's hurt or not, but it was Caden Knight and the other one who was in with him, but they were only going at 4 yards per carry, and then you get behind, you've got to throw. But I mean, to be fair, Sawyer Robertson, he looked really good throwing the football, whereas Arnold looked good with his legs, but he aired it out. And I know Wilson and Trigg they had like 28 targets between the two of them. Like they're going to stat pad this year, those two, but I mean, I love Trigg as a receiver. I think he's going to have a monster year. They were just throwing to him time and time again, and Auburn's DBs were really struggling with him.
Yeah, because let's say Trig, massive, and he's like 6'4", 6'5", a big tight end.
He's
Like I
that.
said, they really did struggle with him. And yeah, a lot of it was like say short to intermediate stuff where it felt like Auburn were kind of happy for them to have it because they knew like say Trig didn't offer much of yak. Like I say, they were kind of just giving, letting them have the under because they knew, like say, ultimately that the clock was not on their side, Baylor. But yeah, it was all slow, methodical drives like that because they were struggling to run the ball. And ultimately, yeah, I think in the end, they ran out of time. They are going to have to win it. Yeah, big loss for Baylor because if Baylor's not going to win the Big 12 and want to sneak into the playoff, this will be one of the games that is used against them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it feels like you've got to go get that automatic bid now from winning the Big
Auburn,
12
they've
to get
dodged what
in.
will have been considered a banana skin and looks pretty good at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there wasn't much to crow about on defense either side. However, Keldrick Folk did look very good for them. Their star edge did come to play, and he had a couple of really big plays in this game. He got the sack in there as well, but he does look legit as one of the top edge prospects for next year.
Yeah, he showed up. Like I say, he looked really big. Like I say, not even he's and he's still growing as well. There's a lot of potential for the young man to build into that frame still.
Yeah, absolutely. There is. Other games next up. Georgia Tech upsetting Colorado. Kind of feared for them at the start of their one. They went behind early, but to me, Georgia Tech, Haynes King is one
The
of the most
Haynes King
frustrating.
fight back was just another guy, like I say, that just never looks comfortable throwing the ball, but he might be the best running quarterback in the country.
It's if you ask me, is Haynes King a good quarterback? And I think it's that question that you feel you're just unable to answer. Like he's so polarizing in what he does, but I mean he ran for more. I'm pretty sure the stat was he ran for more yards than he threw. I think he threw for about 140, had the pick in there, which wasn't great, but then he ran for like a buck 50 or something, did he? Three rushing touchdowns. Colorado kind of blew a good thing here. They scored early. They dominated them in the first quarter, but after that, Georgia Tech kind of just really put them to sleep. I know it's close throughout, but yeah, I don't know what to make of them. Like Georgia Tech had the big win against Florida State, then they let it slip last year. Now they got a big win in Boulder over Colorado, and they do look good, but they're the most polarizing team ever.
Yeah, I don't know if they're good or bad. Like I say, Colorado, for like the first half, their O line was really good. John Seaton, I think we're finally seeing what he could have become.
Mm.
Like I say, he looks like one of the top O linemen in the country now. Like I say, he was leading the way. He's super aggressive. Colorado's one of them teams, like I said, that is in the midst of what feels like a QB crisis. It feels like at some point we're going to see them both. Like they played well, but in the second half, I'd say
He's announced Lewis to play this week. So I don't know whether it's gonna be a rotation or
play him, yeah.
It's
I say it's weird because Colorado slowed down Justice Haynes, but they had no answer for Haynes King. Like when it came to like say broken plays and QB keeps and QB power, they just could not get hold of him. They could not bring him down.
no, no. It, yeah, if it was just such a
He
little
bailed out
bit.
that defense, like I say. It was a good win, but yeah, not a performance that will live long in the memory of the fans.
If
It,
Haynes King was a 10% better thrower, I think he'd be a well in a conversation for one of the better quarterbacks in the draft.
oh, purely from a physical standpoint, the physical traits and the ability to escape and play its players with, yeah, 'cause, yeah, like I said, that just makes him an intriguing prospect altogether.
Yeah,
Like I said, the
absolutely.
fact is, like I say, that he's panicked. I lack confidence in him in the pocket. He's too flustered. He
Yeah.
bails on players too easily, and like I say, he makes some dreadful decisions.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely he does. He's so
Not surprised
polarizing.
Singleton left Georgia Tech in the portal because
No.
let's say Haynes King cannot get the best out of wide receivers and weapons.
No, can't. And then they got the FIU standout there this year who'll be hoping he can. Eric Rivers. I don't know how he did, but yeah,
He only had 3 receptions for 24 yards.
it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. But
Vandenberg got a sack, though, and I'm pretty sure he was on that freak list.
oh, Jordan Vanderberg.
That
Yeah,
big,
he's
that
the
big,
D
that
tackle,
big
isn't
DC
he?
Jordan Vandenberg. So he's one of their standout players.
He's the tweener D tackle. So big
Giant
win.
DC. Yeah.
Yeah, big win for Georgia Tech there. Other ones, UNLV beat Sam Houston 38 to 21. Central Michigan on the road to San Jose State. They were like 16-point dogs for this. They ran out a 16-14 win there, managed to steal one out of the MAC. Navy destroyed the Virginia Military Institute 52 to 7, as did Maryland with Florida Atlantic. They destroyed those. Kent State avoided another winless year. They beat Merrimack by the skin of their chinny chin chin, just 21 to 17. But for the Golden Flashers, a win is definitely a win for them. So absolute tremendous there for the Golden Flashers, Kent State. Pittsburgh took down Duquesne 61 to 9.
Oh, we had the
Um,
huge upset the Blue Raiders.
yes,
Big
Austin
opening.
Pay, the Governors, absolutely
He destroyed them.
put paid to Middle Tennessee. That is, it should just be on my list here. Have I just missed that? I may have missed it, or was it the day after? Fuck me, we've got a lot
It
of
was
games to
late
go.
Saturday, early Sunday.
Yeah, so hang on, we'll have to get through these quicker. So Tulane absolutely walloped Northwestern 23 to 3. We got that wrong in the pick watch as well, but Northwestern went and upset Tulane by not allowing them to wear helmets, remembering the victims of Hurricane Katrina, which in hindsight, not a good decision from them because Tulane came out and absolutely walloped them. And for Northwestern, that's a really bad start to the season for them. Purdue shut out Ball State 31 to nothing. Miss State beat Southern Miss 34 to 17. Kentucky beat Toledo 24 to 16, although they didn't look good. That is not a Kentucky appreciation tweet. It's just
No.
Toledo. Toledo were not
Until
that
like
good.
the third quarter,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was a
like a
close game.
2 point game.
Yeah, they really struggled to put away Toledo. I think Kentucky are in a lot of bother.
Calzada stunk.
Yes, they're in a
Not a good
lot.
return to the FBS for the journeyman.
Nope, they're in a lot of bother this year. West Virginia took away Robert Morris 45 to 3. Yukon beat Central Yukon State. Boston College destroyed Fordham. Louisville destroyed Eastern Kentucky. Northern Illinois nearly got upset by Holy Cross. That was 19 to 17, nearly an FCS upset there. Temple beat UMass 42 to 10. Air Force beat Bucknell. Liberty destroyed Maine or 28 to 7. Arkansas beat Alabama A&M 52 to 7. Memphis beat Chattanooga. Iowa beat Albany. Virginia beat Coastal Carolina. And
Iowa struggled
James,
for a long time though.
they did. The Albany, the Great Danes. Good defense. Just I think it got gassed in the end, didn't it? Really. Although Gronowski looked all right. Your boy started good.
Yeah, he started all right, like I said. Difficult opponent for say found his feet.
Absolutely. And then on the last of the Saturday ones over here, James Madison beat Weber State. Moving into the early Saturday morning, and then we have some of the bigger ones. And we got another one of our top 10 matchups here. LSU versus Clemson, and
I got
another.
this one badly wrong.
We both got this one very badly wrong, and now we've been made to look very foolish this year because well, I said Clemson were going to win the Natty, and you said they were going to get there. Brian Kelly needed a signature win in terms of his LSU side being contenders, and on the road in Clemson's Death Valley, not LSU's Death Valley, 5.5 point dogs. They came into town, and for the most part of this game, Clemson had this game under control and they didn't look in danger, although the offense looked absolutely garbage and they can't run the ball anymore, which is going to be a big problem for them. They traded scores early on. Nolan Hauser, it was field goals to start off. Nolan Hauser hit from 42. Damian Ramos, the LSU kicker, hit from 52. Really good kick from him. And then just before the half, Adam Randall on a fourth and goal at the LSU one. Clemson went for it. Adam Randall converted it. 10-3 at the half to Clemson. And their defense was it was repelling LSU for the most part of this game. But getting to about halfway through the third quarter, and this game turned on an absolute dime, and Clemson just did nothing in the second half. Their drives in the second half, 8 plays, 45 yards, missed a field goal, 2 plays, 10 yards, interception, 3 plays, 5 yards, punt, 8 plays, 42 yards, turnover on downs, 3 plays, 2 yards, punt, 7 plays, 42 yards, turnover on downs. And LSU had two unanswered touchdowns in the second half. Caden Durham with a 2 yard run for the first one. And then Garrett Nussmeier with 12 minutes left found Trey Diaz Green from 8 yards out for a touchdown. And LSU turned that 10-3 scoreline into a 17-10 win. And I'm just going to again put up the game on paper stuff for you here so you can just have a look at how badly this went.
The only good thing that came out of this game was my prediction of Weeks winning the Butkus because it was
Wi-
outstanding. Those linebackers in LSU were tremendous.
Yeah.
Him and his brother West, they crushed Clemson.
Absolutely. I mean, let's look at the offensive stuff here. So, not great from either side, really. 5.2 yards for LSU, 4.5 for Clemson. Um, yards per dropback, low. Explosive play rate, 3% for LSU, 5% for Clemson. Third down success rate, just 36% for LSU, 27% for Clemson. And then in the red zone, 38% for LSU, 29% for Clemson. Havoc rate, Clemson did well on defense. They had 10 tackles for loss compared to LSU's five, but LSU had 2 sacks compared to just one from Clemson. Clemson did force a couple of fumbles as well, which helped in the run game, so they ended up splitting the turnover battle, but 261 yards of offense for Clemson. They rushed the ball for 53 yards and they had 8 players take a carry in the backfield. I think if you're immediately looking for an issue with Clemson's offense in this one, right,
Loss of
they've
Phil Maffer, no hole plugged. Yep.
they've no one to run the
They should
football.
have been in the portal for a running back, not a well-held pass rusher. They needed a veteran running back to come in.
I mean, look at that. No running back went for more than 5 yards per carry, apart from Tyler Brown, who had 1 carry for 7 yards. But Klubnik had 6 carries for 23. Adam Randall had 5 carries for 16. He had a touchdown, but it was from 1 yard out. Cade had to throw it, and he was only 50% on the day, 19 of 38 for 208 yards, and he threw a pick as well. He only got sacked twice, so wasn't been pressured all over the show. You go on to the flip side. Nussmeier had a good day, 28 of 38, 218 yards and a touchdown. But importantly, they were able to run the football, and it's that man, right, Caden Durham. That was the difference in this game, just between the offenses. If Clemson had a Caden Durham, they'd have probably won this game. But the young freshman from last year, now in his true sophomore year, another touchdown for him, 4.3 yards per carry, which was steady. Had a few good catches out the backfield as well. And then Aaron Anderson, best slot receiver in the country potentially. 99-yard day for him on 6 catches. Chain mover. Garrett Nussmeier had his chain mover and he had his running back, and that's ultimately what decided this.
Yeah. It was the ability to win in the trenches and get the short yardage, convert first down. K. Klubnik on every third and long and on fourth down had to throw the ball. And it doesn't help his throwing at one of the best cornerbacks in the country and potential first round pick in Mansour Delane, the Virginia Tech transfer, who I think is going to be a star at LSU. I think the NFL scouts are about to love this kid. But yeah, if Cade is going to get Clemson to the playoffs, he'll have to win the Heisman because he will not be doing it with a run game. It will not be all him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tough going. And I mean, in terms of again, you give up 17 points. Your defense has done pretty well. It was just this was a rough day. Offen
The Clemson defense, like I say, Avian Terrell again was a star. Their defense was great.
yeah, it
Sammy
was.
Brown, like I say, Wood as the linebackers as well. Just standouts.
It is. It's absolutely full play. It's just, they've got to discover or rediscover their run game. But in terms of the defensive performances from both sides, like LSU's defense as well, was
Harold Perkins is
absolutely
back on the edge
tremendous.
finally.
Yeah, Patrick Payton, Ash won't like it, but he had a good day holding up one edge. They got, say, Mansour Delane for him. So, do you know his stats right at corner? He was targeted 8 times. He gave up one reception. He had an interception and two pass breakups. I mean, you can't ask for more than that in coverage. Cade kept going after him. He gave up absolutely nothing. Harold Perkins, yeah, he had a sack on the day. Whit Weeks, three quarterback hits for Whit Weeks from his linebacker position. Three tackles. He went 2 of 4 in coverage as well. So the coverage linebacker is there. I mean, it seems like it's coming together for this defense now. Like I say, they've got a star at corner again. They've got some good linebackers. Their edges are working well. It's looking like it
Over to
could be a
Brian
great
Kelly
unit.
now. LSU need to be making a deep playoff run.
Yeah,
Everything's there for it.
absolutely. You've got to make the run now. And then, on Clemson's side in terms of defense, I mean, Sammy Brown, good day for the young linebacker there. 10 tackles for him, 6 run stops. I mean, in terms of like a run stuffing linebacker, like he's young as well. I'm pretty sure he's just a sophomore this year
Sophomore, yeah.
as well. But, leading the way next to Wade Wood as Brown has the potential to be even better than him.
Yeah. Like I say, that is a great pair. Yeah, Brown, I think he was a 5 star as a freshman. Like I say, he's growing into that role now. Like I say, and they've lost linebackers in recent years. Jeremiah Trotter, like I say, they had another one, I think a first round pick or late second one. Like I say, they've
Mm.
had some elite linebacker player in recent years that have gone like high picks. Those are going to be the next ones. But yeah, I'm not too worried about Clemson. It was a bad day at the office, but it's nothing they can't fix.
No, no. Will Held got a sack on his debut, so there was something there. Again, it's the main ones,
Terrell
TJ.
as well, like I say, yeah. Even Aronson had 99, but yeah, Avian Terrell had some good players.
He did. I mean, he was targeted 7 times. He gave up 6 receptions, but not much yardages on them. One of them was done for a touchdown, but you can't be perfect. DJ Park and Peter Woods were fine, the potential top 2 picks, but they'll want to do better in a big game environment. Standout player was Ronan Hannafin, the free safety. He had 11 tackles on the day, 4 run stops. He forced the fumble. Only gave up 3 receptions for 12 yards, so good performance at safety as well. But yeah, LSU, I mean, you've got to go win the SEC now, right? You got to beat Clemson in Death Valley. You have set the standard for yourself.
Yep, we've seen Alabama struggling. Georgia had a layup. It was a gimme. LSU had the best performance in the SEC. Like I say, arguably. So yeah, they've got to be making the championship. I mean, really, I don't see any excuses for them now. There'll be nowhere to hide this year.
Nope, absolutely not. Okay, we'll move it on. Still got a few games to get through, and we've been going a while. Arizona State take down Northern Arizona 38 to 19. Feel good seeing them the first game. Levitt, yeah, you tell you what, Sam Levitt is pushing his case as QB1 in this draft now. Some of the others around him not doing so well.
Yeah, NAU were pretty good. They were better than they were in the Open last year. They were impressive. Like I say, they did make them work. Like I said, they're not a bad team at all. Yeah, Levitt did it with his legs again. A lot of good running players. Like I say, he found his target as well. But they've got wide receiver one in the draft, I think. John Tyson back from that damaged shoulder, surgery that ended his playoff season, came back with 140 yards, had a monster day, proved that he is very difficult. And yeah, Kyson Brown and Malik Brown, the two new running backs with no Cam Scatterbo, no issue. Those two, like I say, a bit of Udo and like I say, Levitt running the ball. It was death by 1,000 cuts for NAU. We're going to run the ball really well this year by committee, I think.
Yeah, again, nice little warm up for them. We'll see much bigger tests, but they've got that one out the way. Michigan take down New Mexico 34 to 17. Although New Mexico did pull out one of the funkiest plays I've seen, a fake quarterback sneak between the legs to, I think again it was a backup quarterback who was lined up as a running back in the backfield. The New Mexico tight end got a couple of touchdowns on the day, but Bryce Underwood, they'll be happy with that, right? 34-17. You'd expect better. They started off quite quick and they kind of let New Mexico hang a little bit, but true freshman first start, I think you'd take that.
Yeah, he didn't do anything glaring wrong, like I say. It was a fine performance. They got the win. I think it was more about just kind of easing him in. But yeah, they started well in the end. They felt like a bit of complacency, a bit of rust that needs knocking off. But yeah, they were never in danger. And like I say, kind of just they were playing with their food a little bit, which you don't like to see. But yeah, great day from the running quarterback, elite day from the running back that just Haynes absolutely destroyed them. And yeah, a potential new, like you say, star tight end, the new German captain Klein had a big day. Like I say,
Oh,
following in the footsteps of where Colston Loveland's left off. So yeah, every position they needed someone to step in, and they did.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, good signs for Michigan there, but New Mexico still look decent. Scott Trey Humphrey had a couple of good runs. He's going to do well when it gets to Mountain West play. So yeah, great for him. Florida beat Long Island decisively. SMU beat East Texas 42 to 13. South Carolina 24 to 11 winners over Virginia Tech, but don't let it fool you. They struggled in
I
this
did watch this.
game.
The Virginia Tech defense was
The Virginia Tech defense was absolutely phenomenal. The first drive of this game, Lenoris Sellers had a touchdown run, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to get absolutely wrecked here at this point. It looked like it was butter through knife stuff. Lenoris Sellers looked like $1 million. They got the touchdown, but then after that, the drives just went down. So, South Carolina after that, they went punt, then they got safetied, then they went punt, punt, field goal, punt, punt until they got to the end of the game. Like Virginia Tech, 11 tackles for loss, four passing tackles for loss, seven rushing, three sacks. They put so much pressure on Lenoris Sellers and they really made him fight in this game. It's just a shame that
Kyron
Kyron
Jones. I
Drones is
like him, but he
looking.
really let them down.
Kyron Jones threw two picks. He didn't run the
They were
ball
bad
very
as well.
well. Virginia Tech couldn't run the ball very well. They only got field goals. And they got the safety as well, obviously. Kevin Gillum Jr., Cody Hausman did in Lenoris Sellers, in which was a bit of a brainless moment for him. But, it was. I come out of this game thinking more of Lenoris Sellers. Like he showed his arm pretty good. He's definitely showed his ground attributes well, but the sheer amount of pressure he got put under. I said this in my season preview of South Carolina. This offensive line is young. Like it is young, young. It's experienced, but it's young. And it looked it in this. They were coming at him from every which direction. And for the most part, safety aside, the ball security was better, didn't give it away so much. He looked very calm given how much Virginia Tech threw at him, and their defense can be incredibly proud.
Yeah, they really did make him work for it. Like I said, I saw a lot of things from that VT defense that I liked that will help them win some games this year. Drones knew he screwed up. Every time he came off the sideline, he looked frustrated, especially the first pick, like I say, which was just, yeah, frustration. It was one of those balls you should never have thrown in like triple coverage. The turnovers were bad, and they were in good field position at the time too. He kind of killed them. Yeah, like I say, but yeah, Nick Harbour as well. A few explosive players.
Had a touchdown chalked off, which was looks.
Yeah, a terrible holding call, wasn't it?
No, it was the one where he caught
Oh,
it. He caught
he
it,
caught, yeah, he
had
caught
two
it, like
feet in
saying,
the
yeah,
end
they rolled
zone,
it, lost
went.
control at the ground, yeah.
Yeah, but it's college. 1 foot down, ball in your hand. It's a touchdown. He got 2 feet down, came out the end zone, bobbled it, and it fell. But like that's a touchdown. Three catches for 99 yards though. And again, I know I'm more high on him too, but
Good start for him.
we're tentatively seeing the receiver emerge and disassociating himself from just being an athlete.
Yeah, good catch. Like I say, made some big explosive plays, was able to take the roof off the defense one or two times. Like I say, it's looking like he can become the number one target there and increase his volume of work. Like I say, sellers will now be looking for him most downs and most plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Only Brady Hunt got more than him. Brady Hunt looks really nifty as well. Don't know too much about him, but he had a decent day. But Sellers, 12 of 19 for 173 and a touchdown, 9 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Good day for him.
Linebacker as well had a tremendous day.
You're talking about what's his name? Not Santiago, it's the other one. Oh, I can't remember which one it is now.
Big 6'3", 220 guy.
Oh Lord. You've got me. This is the team I've been this is the team I've been prepping for this year. Hang on.
Johnson, Fred Johnson.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
tremendous.
Yes.
Looks like
Fred
he's going to be a
Johnson,
star.
he got oh, did he get a sack on that? No, he didn't get a sack, but
He got an interception. He
yeah,
got an interception, and I think
that
he got a fourth. Did he get a fumble as well?
it possibly did. Yeah, he got the interception, 9 tackles on the day, um, quarterback pressure. Dylan Stewart, he had a quiet
Yeah.
game by his standards, but the sack he got, he absolutely wrecked that right tackle to go get him. It was like he showed a little bit of what he was about, but he had
Yeah,
a
showed
little bit
some
of a
flashes later in the game. Yeah.
yeah, he had a slow start, but he showed you what he's about. And then, I hate to say it, one of their best performers was Brandon Cisse. 3 pass breakups. They nicked him from us, NC State. Like, he looks legit in this defense.
Yeah.
Carry on like that,
Played
he's going to
very
be a
well on the
hell of a
outside.
he's going to be a hell of a corner prospect. It really upset me to see him doing so well, but at the same time, he's on the team I follow, so South Carolina, yeah, there's work to do. The offensive line needs to get better, but Virginia Tech, if Drones gets better, they're going to be absolutely fine in the ACC this year. There's nothing to worry about there. A team who have a lot to worry about, though, Rye. They lost week one. They nearly got taken down by FCS opposition in week two. What on earth is going on with Kansas State? They look bad right now. So they're playing North Dakota. They won 38 to 35. The Fighting Hawks came from some distance behind in this one. They were behind early. Then they took the lead into the half. Then Kansas kind of destroyed them out of the half. But then they were winning with like 50 seconds to go in this. It took a last gasp touchdown from Joe Jackson to win it. I mean, it's the defense. The defense doesn't look good this year, right? I know we said against Iowa State it was good, but the weather conditions kind of impacted on it. But you give up 35 to the Fighting Hawks. The offense does what it can, but something's not right there with them this year.
No, they've been super leaky. Like I say, their secondary is, yeah, their secondary is struggling. Like I say, Kaminsky had a good game for the Fighting Hawks. They were good at running the ball. Like I say, Austin Remain he can only do so much. Like I say,
Mm,
he's able to, like I say, withstand, like I say, a barrage of running, but like I say, can't bail on his position. He can't go QB hunting. He does need some support from other guys around him.
yeah, Austin Samney had another sack to go with his like 4 last week. So again, individually, there's some players doing well on there, but it's outside of that. I mean, you got to feel good being North Dakota, though, right? Their quarterback looked really good. Is it
Yeah,
Kaminsky, something like that? Like he was dicing them. I think he got a couple of rushing touchdowns as well. The main
yeah,
running
good
back
starter
looked
as
pretty
well,
decent.
sophomore. Like I say, he didn't play much this year. That was like his first start, and yeah, I think he did pretty well to say it's good level of competition he came up against.
And it's good resilience from them as well. I mean, on the road. That's a really tough place to go, but you've got to feel good being North Dakota this year. That'll bode well for their FCS campaign.
Yeah, like I say, they'll feel comfortable. Like I say, if they can put 35 at Kansas State when they get into FCS play, Kaminsky could probably have some pretty big outings this year. They're going to rack up some points, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, they will. Other ones, we are getting towards the end of this now because I've been going a while, but a lot went off. Texas A&M 42-24 winners over UTSA, but there's one story and one story only here, right? Although, in fact, no, Marcel Reed looks tremendous at quarterback for A&M now, but Robert Henry Jr. for UTSA, 16 carries, 177 yards, two touchdowns. The play where he breaks some poor TN Temu linebacker in half, and just I think his knees are going to be destroyed for the rest of his life. That UTSA pipeline at running back is alive again. He looks legit. He's got the same long flowing hair that Derek has as well. You would think they were related, but oh, they've got a big superstar on their roster there at running back.
Yeah, another one that they can just rely on to feed the ball, give him as many carries as he wants to take, and someone that is going to be really difficult to slow down to be able to stop. And he's going to be not one that shies away from physical contact. He's happy to just get behind his pads, square his shoulders, sink his helmet, and he'll just run through guys if he can't run around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not taking any prisoners this year. I'm going to be watching UTSA football closely with him on the field. Ole Miss won their cupcake game with Georgia State, destroyed them. Texas Tech wrecked Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Western Kentucky the same to Northern Alabama. Arkansas State beat Southeast Missouri State 42-24. South Alabama beat Coach Huggins' Morgan State, but 38-21. That is a good performance from the Bears. Austin Peay, the Governors, as we mentioned earlier, destroyed Middle Tennessee. And, Austin Peay, right, they lost their head coach to UTEP. They have hemorrhaged a lot of talent up to the FBS level, and yet they just keep replacing it. Chris Parson, the quarterback there, looks tremendous. They're another who I'm sure you've now got your eye on very big in the FCS circles this year. I know it's just Middle Tennessee, but like they didn't just beat them, they beat the brakes off them, and it's their first win, I believe, over an FBS team I read since 1987. So this doesn't happen often. This governors program doesn't cause a lot of upsets at this level, but they look dominant.
Yeah, they really were. Like I say, they just won every facet of the game. Yards, plays, their defense was just stifling. Like I said, they dominated time of possession. I said they made Middle Tennessee just constantly punt and punt and punt. Every drive ended for them very disappointingly. So yeah, it was a fantastic one for them. And yeah, someone that's probably looking at trying to make a case to have at least some mention in the committee to try sneak into the FCS playoffs at the end of the year. If they can do that to a decent middling road G5 team, then they should be able to do that to the likes of plenty of lesser FCS folk this year.
Absolutely. Other ones, Troy beat Nichols, Vanderbilt beat Charleston, Southern, Louisiana Tech shut out Southeastern Louisiana, Utah State beat UTEP, USC wasted Missouri State. They dropped a 73 burger on them there. I think that was the highest score of the week. Rice beat the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Not a good start to the season for Louisiana to lose to that Rice team 14-12 at home as well. Tulsa beat Abilene Christian. North Texas shut out Lamar. Texas State beat Eastern Michigan. BYU beat Portland State 69-0. And I read somewhere that Portland State's three first downs in that game is some record that goes back 40 or 50 years for least first downs given up in a game by BYU. Crazy stuff. New Mexico State beat Bryant, but only 19-3. They're still not over their flex there. Fresno State destroyed Georgia Southern 42-14. Made me and Ryan look like idiots again. Washington State nearly upset by the Vandals, right? 13-10. Vandals nearly pulling off the upset there. California beat Oregon State. Arizona twonked Hawaii. Tush tush Hawaii. Washington beat Colorado State. And to end it out, Utah beat UCLA 43-10. Oh boy, I tell you, that Devin Dampier train, oh, that's getting hot.
Yeah. Whereas UCLA, flat cold. I think they're another team that are going to struggle immensely this year. Yeah, Devin Dampier, Utah, they were tremendous on the day. Opened a can of pass on them.
Absolutely. I mean, this was just no contest. 500 yards of offense for Utah, just 210 for UCLA. Iamalevu, 11 of 23, 108 yards, touchdown and an interception. And they could not run the ball to save their lives. He had 9 carries for 75 yards, but his actual running backs did nothing. But Dampier, 22 of 27 for 206 and 2 touchdowns, carried for 87 yards and a touchdown. But overall, that entire team, the offensive line looked tremendous. They gave up no tackles for loss in the past game, no sacks. There was just 4 rushing tackles for loss. I mean, Big 12 is in sight for them this year if they play like that because their defense is acting like the brute that it used to be.
Yeah, Utah probably have announced themselves back, like I said, back on the Big 12 stage, and will most certainly be a problem for a lot of this year. I think they're back, yeah. As you mentioned, it helps having the best pair of tackles in the country, a growing quarterback, a head coach that's reliable, and then a defense that is as stout as ever.
Yeah, it is. And Logan Farnu, he's one of the stars there. He had a sack. John Henry Daly, he had 2 sacks. Kaufusi, he had a half as well. Like they were all over this team. So great work there from Utah. And then we've got the last 2 games of the week, and we've got the final of the Big Ten matchups there. Miami of Florida ranked number 10 at home to number 6 Notre Dame. And I mean, this was a really entertaining game, right? Ended up 27-24 to Notre Dame in a game which inexplicably Jeremiah Love was not used. They rushed him 4 times before the half, trying to break down this Miami team who were just having absolutely none of it. And they let themselves get behind and they were just never able to really recover from the 8 ball. Miami had 4 of the first 6 scores in this. Malachi Tony had a 28-yard touchdown pass from Carson Beck. Notre Dame hit right back CJ Carter, Micah Gilbert, but then Carson Beck had a catch to CJ Daniels, which was the one-handed behind the head one, which was like one of the most fantastic catches I've ever seen. It's like a poster at this point. And then they got a third touchdown just after halftime. Shamar Brown ran that in. It's 21-7 at this point. Notre Dame did fight back in the fourth quarter. Jordan Faison, he got a receiving touchdown to make it 21-14. But Miami went back up to 10 points up with a field goal. No, Notre Dame could only kick a field goal back in response, went to 24-17. But then they got the touchdown to bring them level. CJ Carr, really good run from him, 7 yards out to make it 24 all. But Miami would get the deciding field goal. A minute left. Carter Davis was able to knock it in from 47. It was not easy to win this, but Notre Dame couldn't get anything going. They went -6 yards on the clutch drive to end this, and Miami sneak out of this with what is a massive win for their season. But the story will be, right, Notre Dame, they gave CJ Carr a lot of passes in the first half, and I believe only one of them went more than 4 yards down the field. It was screens, it was short slants, it was trying to move the ball and get him comfy. And they left their star running back on the bench, and ultimately, too far behind cost them.
Yeah, feels like a poor management. Don't get me wrong, Jadarian Price, one of the best running back twos in the country. He got a good amount of the work, but even he didn't get many touches. If you're not going to give one of the best players in America that many touches to impact the game, then you kind of have to see the rewards. And then, like you say, you got the other side where Malachi Tony, a true freshman, comes in.
Mm.
What a standout performance that was. Like you say, he really lit up that secondary and came in, like I say, looks like a breath of fresh air, the next potential Miami great threat.
Him and CJ Daniels, that looks like it's going to be a partnership. And his catch was insane. Like this thing, he's looping like a basketball player when they go to dunk, isn't he? And it's a one-hander rolling back into the end zone. It's tremendous.
And Miami D, Ruben Bain, massive pain in the ass all day for Notre Dame all line.
How sick does he look? Like, I want him in
So strong.
Detroit.
He's just his power.
I want him in Detroit. There is just like the type of edge that we look for. But the thing is, he runs like he's 240 pounds. He's got that bend like he's 240, doesn't he? Like, everything in his arsenal. There was one play, the one that stood out, where Emil Wagner, the right tackle's up against him, and Emil Wagner's going to get drafted. He's going to be a next one of the, Notre Dame tackles in the league. And he sort of does this shoulder tap to him, and he just takes him off his feet and knocks him flying. Like, it's scary, Ruben Bain's strength.
Yeah, I think we potential is not even on. It's just not even been tapped yet. How Ruben Bain looks like, say, he looks like the next kind of threat that's going to come into the NFL, and as a rookie, like say, take the league by storm potentially.
Him and Akeem Mesidor, like they finished. And what the thing is, they did the clutch plays, the two plays to end this game. They both sacked CJ Carr. That's when they got their sacks. So you had to wait till late, but your big players step up in the big
They
moments.
were the
Bain,
finishers that helped see it out.
yeah, Bain, one sack, one QB hit, two hurries, six tackles, four run stops, forced fumble. Oh, and he had an interception as well. Like the dude did everything. That pair off the edge could destroy teams this year, and Miami, that'll be their route to win in a lot of games. But you've got to give him credit. Carson Beck looked good in his first game. Like he's effectively taken a downgrade to come here, but he gives you optimism. He's got a good run game there. He's got some good receivers there. Star new true freshman. I thought you looked very good.
I think he's probably made a good decision landing on a team that has got the pieces right now that there's options for him, like say in the receiving threat. There's a run game. There's a potential for a strong defense. I think he thought carefully about his options when he entered the portal. Like
Hmm.
saying he was one of the later QBs to commit as well, so he went through and made a good choice. And yeah, it's a great start for them for Notre Dame.
Exactly.
Perhaps a
Carr,
blackboard, yeah.
I thought Carr looked all right, but I mean, he can only throw what they
He
give
looked
him,
pretty
and
good for a kid that was under a lot of pressure.
yeah, they gave him a lot of easy throws early, but he seemed to ease his way in. And again, good as a rusher, sensible, good decision making.
Yeah. But I don't feel like they put him in a position to win.
No, no, that's the only trouble. Like he's going to struggle there to start with, but I think he'll get there, and I think that was promising from them. But Miami do look slightly legit here. Notre Dame, in terms of, I mean, Malachi Fields looked good. I know he had the fumble on his debut and he got hit pretty hard, and they got turned over there, but he looked good. And then they got Eli Raridon. I don't know too much about him, but he had a hundo yard there. I don't know if he's. I think he's another one of the young prospects. But Malachi Fields looked very good. In terms of the defense, though, it was great to see Boubacar Traore do well. The old Rutgers, he had a sack. He looks really good. I mean, he's in like year 6 or 7 now, isn't he? He's had injury issues for
Had some
days,
terrible
but
injuries, haven't they?
we talk about they lost the heart of that linebacker core last year. He looks right at home in that defense.
Yeah, it's kind of worked out perfect, like I say, because they need someone to replace, was it Moaga who
Yeah.
got drafted? Yeah, like I say, and he slots
And
in as
Jack
kind of,
Kaiser
yeah.
gone. They need that middle linebacker type to do well. The guy next to him, that Villiar Muassa, he looked absolutely stonkingly good as well. He had some great run stops. Nearly decapitated Mark Fletcher on one of his runs. So, again, reasons to be positive. But for Notre Dame, that's a big loss now. You're an independent. You've got to win games like that. You've now got to go and beat the likes of USC and whatnot, because
Yeah,
that's the
definitely step
committee are
it
not
up.
going to take that kindly, especially if Miami shit the bed in the ACC.
Yeah, he's certainly set Notre Dame back on their quest to make the playoffs again.
It did indeed. And then finishing off this entire week, the return of Bill Belichick. And what can you say, Rye? There are some problems in life that even one of the greatest defensive minds in the country cannot solve. And the enigma, which is the UNC defense, is it ever going to be good again? We got a firm, resounding answer to that. And Ryan's got a big smile on his face because he loves Josh Hoover. He loves this TCU offense. And after the first drive where UNC went down the field and shredded them, you thought, maybe, just maybe, they've got something here. Gio Lopez looked good. He hit a couple of deep shots. And then TCU and Josh Hoover came to the show and proceeded to drop 48 onto this UNC defense, which feels like it's going to be bad for all of eternity, right? I mean, yeah, exactly what you expect from TCU. They lost receivers last year. They seem to have found new stars. They lost running backs last year. They seem to have found new stars. And they've got one of the biggest stars in the country at quarterback, and he looked very, very good.
Yeah, he was very comfortable all night because UNC got no pressure on him. He was just sitting back there, and they found a new star, Jordan Dwyer, that all American Idaho Vandal FCS transfer. He's landed in the perfect offense for him to become an NFL receiver. He was just absolutely everywhere. They had no answer for him whatsoever. Like I say, Kavorian Barnes, great in the backfield. Palmer, Payne, like I say, TCU actually like spreading the ball around and running it consistently. That's unheard of in the Josh Hoover era. It's been straight up just like I will pass you to death. But it was a very good, very polished, well-rounded performance. I was pretty impressed actually. And I might say, yeah, defense came to play. Veteran stud, a safety Bud Clark with the most telegraphed pick six I've ever seen. I think even I knew he was throwing it to the out. He just undercut it. Yeah, like I say, TCU were fantastic on the day, but yeah, UNC injury, like I say, could not run the ball. Calvin Hood, like I say, 3 yards of carry. TCU just absolutely swallowed them up. And then, yeah, to rub injury in his insult, Gio Lopez went off hurt, what looked like a potentially serious injury. Max Johnson came in, but Max Johnson actually came in and actually looked half decent.
How did he get hurt on that? Fuck, 'cause he fumbled it, didn't he,
Yeah,
Lopez? He
he went
got
off
hit
hurt.
hard. Did he get hurt? Oh,
Yeah, I
Lord.
think it was his shoulder or his ankle. Yeah, Max Johnson finished it out. But yeah, I think Max Johnson, depending on injury, will probably want to try. Thinks he can win that job. Former
Oh.
LSU guy, but yeah, Jordan Shipp's a good receiver. They've got a talented playmaker there. I'll give them that. But yeah, Bill Belichick's face on the sideline, stony as ever, but steam was coming out of his ears.
He did. He looked furious,
Nothing went right.
and you saw that NFL play, like the amount of like third and sixes and sevens they were at, and he ran the football. That's some shit he used to do with the Patriots in the NFL. It doesn't work in
Too
college, does
stubborn.
it?
He will not last in college football. He'll be one and done. He'll be gone this season.
I was
Yeah.
watching that and thinking that's an NFL play call. You don't play like that in college. You don't be so negative on those third and mediums. You don't run the football. You throw the damn thing. And it feels like they're never going to have a good defense again. It feels like I've never known them have a good one and then never going to go forward. But you mentioned, the new superstar receiver for everyone to watch at TCU, Jordan Dwyer, 9 catches on 9 targets for 136 yards. I mean, perfect, perfect first day.
Yeah, they needed someone to replace Jack Beck, and they've already found him. Like I say, they went down a level, got the best receiver in the country that was possible. And yeah, this guy's going to put up some video game numbers this year. And yeah, he's going to walk into the NFL draft as an underclassman next year.
And it's too early to say about how good the TCU defense may be, given that UNC was so all over the place. But I mean, you look at that and you think,
Great start, good sacks. They got pressure. They were really good on the defensive line.
yeah, that preseason thing that, Hoover could be in for a Heisman campaign, certainly not looking off the mark. So yeah, Big Bill's return to college football absolutely atrocious. So that is everything from the week 1 slate. My, we went for some time on that, but football is back and we just love to chat about it. 3 top 10 games is always going to be a lot to mention. We are just going to finish this week. I'm not going to spend too long on week 2. We'll cover that next week, but we need to do the pick watch fixtures. We've got to get them out of the way. So we're going to do that and then we're going to head out of here for today. Again, if anyone's any questions or anything they want to ask us, put them in the chat and I will get to them or we'll do them on a later show. We'll quickly go through the pick watch ones and then mention any others there. This is really tough to start the year. Um, so I can't go into them in too much detail because again we've been going forever. So we're just going to pick these ones. Week 2. It gets no easier. Number 11, Illinois, right, facing their first true test of the season, a road game against the Duke Blue Devils, and you've had Duke to sneakily do well in the ACC this year. Illinois ranked 11th, Easy win over Western Illinois to start the season there. Duke had a slightly tougher win against Elon, but still won it to start there. But this is big game for both early teams to establish here. Illinois, if they want to establish themselves as Big Ten contenders, you've got to be putting away teams like Duke. Vice versa for Duke. If you want to win the ACC, you probably want to put teams like Illinois away at home. Two very intriguing teams this year, potential dark horses. Which dark horse is going to strike a blow first?
Oh yeah, give me the Blue Devils. All about the Darian Mensah trade and the Duke Blue Devils making the playoffs.
I am very much behind Illinois this year, but I'm agreeing with you. I've had a soft
Mensah was
spot for
very, I know this,
Duke.
like I say, Mensah's going to hit the ground running. Sneaky Heisman candidate.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I think he's going to do the same. Next up, we've got a derby. We've got Iowa at Iowa State, ranked number 16. Mark Gronowski versus the Bectical. You no need to ask where I'm going with it. I'm going with the Homer side. Iowa State have had their number the last few years, but the Gronowskis there, Iowa, they look good. They seem to be playing better, but they're up against the Cyclones who started off 2-0, started off on fire. Who do you have in the Iowa matchup?
Oh, Cyclones, and it won't be close. Iowa's going to get dog walked.
See, I feel like now you've said it as well, they're going to lose, so we will see. But yeah, Iowa State sweep there. Who's put Iowa in the chat? Junie. Everyone else has picked State. Right, that's fine. Just outing him there. Baylor at SMU, ranked number 17. I know we're going to put Baylor in here again, and they burned us last week. But SMU, right? It's the second year in the ACC. This is potential sophomore slump time. We know Baylor can be better. And SMU more of a pass-heavy team than a rushing team, and Baylor got trashed by the run last week. So, and plus, they've played two games. So, where have we got? Baylor at SMU. Are the Mustangs going to start with a bang, or are the Bears going to bite back?
Oh, give me SMU.
He was very close to saying Baylor. I know he was. I've picked Baylor. Once bitten, twice shy, I know, but I don't know. I think SMU are going to have a slump this year. Just a natural regression. Now teams know about them and can game plan for them, and Baylor are going to be hurting after that loss the other day. So I've got them there. Staying in the ACC, Virginia at NC State. You don't have to ask me. I'm an absolute homer for this one. Virginia had a good start to the year, but we don't know what they're going to be. Obviously, no Colin Dreyer there this year. They're starting over, but NC State, we looked okay to start with. Smothers looks good at running back. CJ McCall had a decent day, but it just didn't quite work for the whole thing. Virginia at NC State, right? Who have you got?
See, I love Chandler Morris. He was so good for North Texas. He was one of the best QBs in the country.
Oh, is that who they've got now?
Yeah,
Oh,
but they just feel like it's going to be very air raidy. I'll go NC State.
I of course have
I don't
gone
think
NC
Virginia can run the
State.
ball on them.
Yeah, there's an NC State sweep here at the minute, so I'm scared, but we will see. I've put the obvious threat in here. Sac State at Nevada. I'm a little less confident about putting this in now because Sac State got
They were not
absolutely
good.
dog walked by was it South Dakota State they played?
Yeah, they got
They got
trounced.
absolutely dog walked, but it's Brennan Marion, it's the go-go. They've got their high-level quarterback recruit there, but they looked rough. But they're playing Nevada, and Nevada have not been good in the Mountain West now for a couple of years, although flickers this year potentially. But for me, Sac State, this could be a potential massive upset here. I'm going to pick Sac State to be the FCS upset, but who have you got, Ryan? And it's split between everyone voting for this, so nobody knows.
I think I'll just take Nevada. I don't think Sac State's ready yet.
You've got the Nevada home win. Number 15, Michigan at number 18, Oklahoma in the week's only top 25 rated matchup. The Wolverines are going to Norman and Oklahoma. John Mattia looked good in debut. We like John Mattia, but this Oklahoma team hasn't been tested yet. Neither has Michigan, to be fair. But Game day is going. It's going to be a high level affair. Two young quarterbacks, but Matia has the experience. Can Michigan go to Oklahoma or go to Norman and upset Oklahoma, right?
This is hard. This is uh,
So while Rye's thinking about it, I am going with Matia and Oklahoma purely because I think John Matia is a wonderful quarterback. I don't know if the Michigan defense is going to be. They don't meet many proper dual threat quarterbacks in the Big Ten. There's a lot of standard deliver pocket passes there. I think Matia is going to be something a little different to what they've seen in recent years, and I think they're going to struggle with that a little bit. And I just feel like this Oklahoma side has turned a corner. They've got Jade Knott as well, so if they can get him going, like that's a good offense. It just depends defensively. But Bryce, this is his first road game. Norman, for as not as good as this team has been in a while, it's still an intimidating place to go. I
yeah,
figure,
I'll take the Sooners.
obviously, if Justice Haynes can get going, because Justin Haynes looked good. But I'm with you. I just think it's going to be a step too early for the Wolverines, but we'll see. And of course, I know Brent's going to pick Michigan for that one. Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. I mean, Vandy for their success story last year still got all the main playmakers in town. Virginia Tech, it's the home debut at Blacksburg. We're going to get the wonderful, best, most entertaining, enthralling entrance in all of college football to enter Sandman. That is like we've seen teams go and be absolutely destroyed there. I remember UNC a couple of years ago were massive favorites, just absolutely wilted. But that's the Sam Howell era. It's not an easy place to go. But Vandy are no mugs anymore, Ryan. They're underdogs for this, believe it or not, by 4 points. Virginia Tech are favored. They've got the home advantage. They've got the rabid home advantage, but Vandy can run the football and they can kill a game and they can take the crowd out the equation. Are the Commodores going to have another good year, or are we going to finally see them start to unravel again against teams they should probably be beating?
I saw enough from the Virginia Tech defense, but their offense, I just don't think can hang with Vanderbilt. So I'm going to take the Commodores.
See, I'm going to have a Vanderbilt upset as well. I think Virginia Tech will be frisky, but I just think Vanderbilt run it well enough. Cedric Alexander is like low key a very underrated running back. I think he's going to be key in this, and a lot more people are going to like him for after that. So we will see. But we got a Vandy sweep on that. Texas State at UTSA. We've got the Bobcats against the Roadrunners. We've got GJ Kinney, but they're going against Henry and that UTSA offense. This could low P be a 90-point game between two teams who are going to be gunning for their respective conference titles. This could be a game of the week right here. Um, but the Bobcats are on the road. Have we got Bobcats or Roadrunners?
Brad Jackson's freshman debut was very good. I'm going to take Texas State.
So we are going to diverge. I have the Roadrunners. When the Bobcats have struggled, they've usually struggled on the ground. So if Henry can get up and running, then they'll struggle. But I think this could be a low-key game of the week, potentially. We've got two left, and then we'll get ourselves out of here. UCLA at UNLV. UNLV did not look good to start the year. They struggled with Dan Mullen, had a bit more of a tune-up this week. They're coming up against UCLA. UCLA are the power team on the road. UNLV are the group of five team at home. Potential banana skin here, who knows? Who have you got in the battle of the four-lettered U teams?
UNLV. I think UCLA looked terrible. I think he's on his way to getting
Ooh,
fired already, that coach.
yeah, I'm going to go UNLV as well. I think we're going to have a group of five upset. Mullins showed me enough that they could
I'm not a
potentially get
Nico
away.
Amalieva guy. I don't
No.
believe in him.
No. If they can get some pressure on him, they're going to get turnovers there. And then finish us all off. Boston College at Michigan State. Boston College whacked Fordham 66 to 10 to start at home. Michigan State with a slightly lesser win over the Western Michigan Broncos. Aiden Childs against a new Boston College team at quarterback, but he looked very good the other day, and Boston College's defense looks pretty mean, but it's power opposition on the road. But you feel like Michigan State could lose this game any day of the week. Who have you got? Spartans or Eagles?
Uh, I'll take the Spartans because of their run game. Mackay Frazier was very good this week in his first game.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see them use Tout Oliver more. They didn't use him much the other day. Like he feels like he's designed for that. Me, I don't know. I think it's because I've been watching a lot of Locked On Boston College recently, but I'm buying into what they're all about this year under Big Bills. So I'm going to diverge and go Boston College. Right, that is the pick watch done. Hopefully we do better. I went 4-6 last week. You went 2-8, but thankfully everyone else struggled as well. So we're not too far behind at this moment in time. And then just to very quickly finish off because we're at 3 hours today. The rest of the ranked fixtures it's pretty much a load of walkovers this week. Ohio State at home to Grambling, Penn State at home to Florida International, Georgia at home to Austin Peay, Oregon at home to Oklahoma State, Texas at home to San Jose State, Clemson at home to Troy, Florida at home to South Florida, Florida State at home to East Texas A&M, but Texas A&M at home to Utah State, Tennessee at home to East Tennessee State, Old Miss on the road to Kentucky. They lost that game last year, although I'm really not expecting a
Definitely
different
not losing out
outcome.
this year.
What?
They're definitely not losing out this year.
Indiana are at home to Kennesaw State. Well, I don't know if that Kennesaw State defense is as frisky as it was the other day. There could be issues there. Texas Tech are playing Kent State, no, and Utah playing Cal Poly. A lot more cakewalks this week, right? I'm not sensing any potential danger for any of the big seeds there, outside of the
Arizona
ones we
State have got
mentioned.
Mississippi State, which is we beat them last year. But yeah, like I say, it's a Big 12 SEC battle.
Why? Why aren't you ranked, or are you playing later? Is that why you're not ranked? Oh
Should be
yeah,
right.
here you are. LSU play Louisiana Tech. Miami play Bethune-Cookman. Yes, you're on the road to Miss State. South Carolina plays South Carolina State, so I can't envisage anything bad there. And your UCF play NCA&T, so yeah, I mean you're not going to struggle against Miss State, right?
Hmm.
You're putting
Don't know.
them on upset watch?
Blake Shapen's not bad.
Yeah. Right, well, we will see. But we're not expecting many big ones. It's going to be some mid-level upsets this week, or some FCS teams not playing ranked teams. Yeah, I can't really see a great deal there, which is moving my radar. UC Davis are at Washington. No, 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 no. Can't see. You watch this time next week. We'll have Charlotte. UNC are away at Charlotte. Let's call that one a potential upset because that could go under very quickly. And Army are away at Kansas State. That's a big early season game for both those two. Loser there, season's potentially over.
Yeah, like I say, it could be early bed and bath for them if they would slip up there.
Absolutely. Right. We are going to leave it at that. Thank you to everyone who's joined us this evening. We really appreciate you. That is your week one review of the season. And obviously, as the weeks go by, we're just going to keep reviewing. So we'll do the week two review next week. And any other things you want us to fit in, we will try and do that again. Any requests or anything, put them in the chat. Next show's coming up. The Main Lines podcast is tomorrow. It's previews. We're playing the Packers on Sunday. The season is back. We could not be more happier. Green Bay Lions Sunday. We're previewing that. We've got a Green Bay Packers guest to come on as well, so join us for that. The guys will be live for the game on Sunday as well. The review will be on Monday, and then me and Ryan will be back on the Wednesday show. Shows galore. You would know where to find us. Roar of the Lions UK. We're online all over the place. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to Rye. I shall see you, or we shall see you all again soon. One pride, and enjoy another weekend of college football.